I wanted to send her flowers, but you know what? Can we do it? Can we do it this week? Let's do it this week because it airs.
Of course.
Ugh, now we have to send Ryan flowers.
I know. I'm like, I'm listening. I'm right fucking here.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Hey, everybody. Hi.
Are you?
Is that a good?
Did
Is
you
that a good
almost
start?
start crying just saying hi?
No, I didn't. I was just realizing how insanely ill-equipped I am to do things of this nature. You gave me a head tilt.
Just say.
I'm not great at, you know how you told me and it cut me deep to my core that I'm not good at, I don't like ending things.
Yes.
Sometimes starting things is hard too, Caissie.
Well, time is a flat circle.
Oh, death is a circle. Did I tell you about that? Yes,
You
that's
did,
in
you
today's
did.
interview, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, guys, you're going to get to it later. But right now, this is Busy Phillips is doing her best. I am the titular Busy Phillips. Joining me, per usual, Caissie St. Ange,
Hi.
my partner in no crimes.
Never did a crime.
Not
yet.
one. Not one.
We might have done like accidental crimes.
Do you think we stole money from Universal on accident during Busy Tonight?
We probably have stolen like a little bit of corporate money. And also there was that time that we both concurrently bitched out that parking lot attendant at that expensive company that we got held at a meeting for too long. And then he tried to charge us $12 to get out of the parking lot where we had a meeting.
Absolutely not, sir.
And we were
absolutely not.
Sir, it's free parking for a meeting, and we're not paying $12 to leave a meeting.
For this fucking fancy-ass company that doesn't even want to buy our fucking show.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, so we got $24 from that very rich company, I guess.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, guess who else is joining us, Caissie? We have a special
already
guest.
know.
You do. You've been here. You were a part of this whole process. It's not a spoiler at all. It's Ryan O'Connell. Hi, Ryan.
Yay.
Hi, you guys. Wow. It feels very charged today in a way that I respond in honor.
Thank you. Okay, guys, if you don't know, Ryan O'Connell is the star and creator of Special, which is a show. It's now in its second season on Netflix. I know it's hard to keep them all straight, guys, but there are only a few that you really need to pay attention to. Special is one of them. Season 1 you can catch up on very easily because the episodes were kind of short. I'm not going to lie. And now we're in season 2 and the episodes are a bit longer, but I'm grateful for it.
Me too.
Ryan, do you want to give the elevator pitch of what Special is about?
Special is about a gay man with cerebral palsy who's trying to figure out how to have the confidence of Rob Schneider in the late 90s.
Great. Or, I mean, honestly, Rob Schneider today, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, imagine going to the Deuce Bigelow set every day and thinking you're doing a great job. Literally, yoink, check cashed, bitch. Check cashed.
And it is obviously a little bit taken from your own life. I loved season 1 and the storyline because of you trying to hide your cerebral palsy behind injuries because you get hit by a car. And when that boss lady is like, I can't remember what, but she says something like, I mean, what if this is just you? And you're like, it's just me. Yeah, it might just be me.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. Well, being an accident victim is VV relatable. Any of us could get hit by a car. God forbid, knock on wood, we don't. But whereas cerebral palsy is much more complicated, people get confused. Cases go from mild to wild. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. It's just an easier way to explain your identity, even if it's based on lies.
It's really interesting. I think the show is incredibly charming. I love all of the supporting characters around you. I love your like weird codependent relationship with your mother, played by the fucking genius Jessica Hecht.
Yeah.
She's so
Jessica
great.
Hecht is an actress, you guys, who, if you are Gen X, you fucking know her because she was like in every good indie movie ever made.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she was on Friends. Who was she on Friends? Somebody on Friends.
Susan.
She's Ross's. No, she isn't.
No,
she
no,
Ross's first wife's new wife.
Girlfriend. Yeah. Wife. Yes. Yeah. I don't subscribe to Friends culture, but like everyone like loves it. So like God bless and good luck with their projects.
Sure. But I know her as an actress from like many cool indie movies that I would rent on VHS in the 90s when you had just been born. Maybe even not even.
Excuse me, what? VHS in the 90s is very much my shit. Parker Posey was my queen, my icon. The Day Trippers, Clock Watchers, House of Yes, Party Girl, Baba Ganoush Falafel. Yes, of course, honey. Oh, I'm not like I went to like the last days of disco with like my babysitter when I was 10. Like I'm addicted.
Okay, he
Great.
wasn't born yesterday. He was born last week.
The House of Yesterday. Oh my God, sorry. I worked on Will and Grace. My brain is like diseased permanently. Okay. Hi.
That's good though. You can like throw a joke out, Ryan. It makes it easy.
Sure, we'll see if anyone catches it, but I can throw it.
It's so good to have you here. For the record, one time I accosted poor Ryan at the Wing, which, if you don't know, is like a workspace, like a place where it's like a club that you pay to work at, which is kind of weird when you think about it.
I didn't pay because I have a penis, and I was there as a guest, and I felt so embarrassed because I loved The Wing, and like we actually wrote like season 2 a little bit. Like one of my co-EP was a member, and we'd go and have writing days there, and I was like, wait, I want to work in a space that doesn't have any men in it either. But like, what are those spaces for me? Like. I thought the food was delicious. Like
That fucking turkey
sandwiches.
sandwich, you guys. That turkey sandwich, one of the best in the biz. That turkey sandwich at the Wing,
good
in
And
West
it had,
Hollywood.
Like, delicious cocktails. And then I was there, and I always wanted to use that place so much because I paid to join it, and Busy and I were members. And then I saw Ryan there, and I just like did that. And you're like one of 2 people I think I've gone up to since I've been in LA and been like, oh my God, I love you. And you were like, ma'am, please.
No, that's sweet. I was like, to The Wing. I was like, Audrey Gelman, can you get me a membership now? Hello? Audrey, where are you? Yeah.
I'm a star.
Yeah. Clearly, Audrey wasn't there if you read the profile. Okay.
I feel like, what's even happening with these workspaces now? They're just graveyards.
Yeah. Well,
they're just
the Wing,
beautifully designed graveyards.
Yeah. Well, The Wing famously got taken down, but it was like during the pandemic. There was this huge expose about how like it wasn't great.
Toxic
and, like,
culture.
Yeah,
Toxic
exactly.
culture.
Which like of course. But it was like during something else that was traumatic that was happening. So I think it got kind of buried. But like Love and Light, I missed the sandwiches.
It was literally during 47 other things that were happening that were traumatic. So
right. Yeah. So
I'm
like
unclear. I'm unclear if The Wing is actually, in fact, canceled. I don't know enough about it. I was deep diving on other people's cancellations in that moment.
It was it had some like problematic dynamics. Can I tell you why I loved The Wing? This will be like talking about Born Yesterday versus Born 100 years ago. The Wing had like a rooftop area, like a hangout area where you could work outdoors. And it overlooked the CVS with the curved facade. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yes.
Of course.
That CVS used to be a roller disco back in the day in Los Angeles that was like the hottest nightclub in Los Angeles where everybody used to hang out. And of course, I'm obsessed with it because who hung out there? Who performed there? Prince. But everybody performed there. The Go-Go's, everybody. So like I tweeted a picture there being like, oh my God, this is Flippers, the roller disco, the hottest place where like Cher used to go. Everybody used to go.
Amazing.
And like Jolie Fisher was like, bitch, I had my birthday party there. And just everybody who was famous was like, I had my birthday party there. I used to go there. I just live for the fact that there was a time when a roller skating place was the hot spot.
Well,
Totally.
listen, this brings me to this. I have this question for you guys. Because in the podcast, Jessica St. Clair is our guest today. And in the podcast that she started with June Diane, we referenced this briefly in episode 1, which I think there were like 4 or 5 out. But June Diane talks about how she wants to get like fully debauched, like now that she's vaccinated.
Yeah.
And somebody today was like, oh, New York this summer is going to be like 1977, baby. And I was like, wait, what is happening? So is everyone going to be fucking in the streets, yes or no?
I want to. I mean, aspirationally, yes. You know what I mean? I want to catch all the STDs. I want to like...
Okay, but you're
wanna...
vaxxed now, right?
Yeah, of course.
Wouldn't that be the ultimate bummer to like be vaxxed and then get an STD?
Honey, it's sewn into the fabric of our lives. It's just part of the tapestry of the quilt, the gay quilt.
As long as it's not that serious of an STD, like if there's like an ointment that can get rid of it,
or even like a small medical procedure, HPV, no big deal, guys.
Yeah, get it.
That episode of Girls always bugged me that she acted like HPV was like the most devastating diagnosis in the world. It's like, I do not know one person who did not have HPV. Literally.
Isn't it like it's like so common?
It's so common they had to come up with a vaccine for it. Because it's like literally everyone fucking got it. When I was like a junior or senior in high school in Arizona, there was this Arizona Republic, like the newspaper came out with a report that at ASU, the biggest dorm, Manzanita, had like a 97% cases. 97% of the students in Manzanita like tested positive for HPV. That's where I got it, guys, from my boyfriend who lived there.
Looks so fun.
That's gorgeous.
Anyway.
Teenage dream.
Speaking of social, now that everybody's vaccinated and, like being able to meet up with people, not to be like weird and creepy like I was that day at the wing, but Ryan's Instagram, it like you look like you're having a social life correctly so far, Ryan, because your Instagram, every picture I see of you with friends, I'm like, oh, that looks so fun. That looks so fun. Like your social life looks very fun.
What are they
to me.
doing?
Well, okay, here's the deal.
Home.
Let's give you some context. Okay, so I was a locked down diva. Like I truly didn't go anywhere. Like I was like not taking Ubers. I was like literally like walking around my neighborhood like Hillary Clinton's wandering the woods post-election loss. I was like not okay. You know what I mean? And obviously I had to like perform cognitive dissonance to like finish my show, which I did in fall. But like other than that, like I did not go anywhere. So once I was fully vaxxed, honey, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm ready to fucking party. I'm done checking the news. I'm done hearing about these fucking variants. It's time to move on. So that's what I've been doing. I've been out in these streets living, laughing, and loving. I had a giant housewarming party like this weekend, which was gorgeous because I was celebrating the housewarming and then special. And then my boyfriend's novel came out the same week. So it was like that moment as well. So it was a lot to celebrate. And I feel like we had a whole year.
Should we plug his novel?
Yeah, it's called Yes, Daddy.
Yes, Daddy.
Yes,
I'm Daddy. Just kidding. Clearly I'm not.
I love it. Wait, Caissie, you have to turn on the ring light I gave you because right now you look like an angel from heaven and I can't.
Maybe it's just that I look like an angel. The ring light's
You do,
on.
but it's like, honey, what's happening with this? I am.
Honey, you look like a slow dive song.
It's like everywhere I turn. Like I just
Okay.
Oh,
there.
you
Now
are.
that
Honey,
that's
you're
perfect.
good. Yeah,
That's it.
You
That's
found
it.
your light.
We just need
You
to see your
light.
face.
Yeah.
Well, guys, listen. Before we get into it, because so much fucking shit happened this week. So much shit happened this week. This week has been like 7,000 weeks in one, and a few of the things have been tragic and terrible.
I mean, yeah, there's like constantly ongoing tragic and terrible. And it's only Monday. We're recording on Monday.
We're recording on Monday. So tomorrow is the anniversary of George Floyd's death, which is like, like a fucking gut punch. Like a year ago, we didn't know who George Floyd was. George Floyd didn't know. Oh, fuck, man. fuck, I could go down. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't want to cry. Okay. Okay. So that is the year anniversary this week. Obviously, we're dealing with like complicated international situations, of which there have been a lot of people weighing in, and I'm not going to be one of them. I'm just not. Is that like, I'm just not.
I feel like that's correct. I feel like social media gives you this thing where you have to become an expert.
I agree, Ryan. And like, I am not Jewish. I like am not Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know the politics of the fucking Middle East. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
It's also just something that's been going on since
Forever.
way
But
before.
I also just think it's like fucking nuts that like American Jews are like being asked to comment on it.
It's complicated, and you know, and it's not something that you should weigh in on lightly or uneducatedly.
Well, okay. So here's what I'm going to say about like American Jews being asked to comment on the Israeli-Palestinian situation and like things that in the state of Israel and like I don't fucking know. Anyway, Sarah Silverman said a thing on her podcast. It's like clipped out. It's on her Instagram. That was the one thing that I was like, oh, that resonates with me. I understand what she's saying. Okay, so there's like heavy shit. There's other heavy shit too. What else is happening?
It's just a lot.
Life?
As always, week after week.
I feel so stupid because I feel like I've been in a K-hole of work and I have no idea what's going on. I also deleted Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, so I feel like I miss a lot of things.
That was smart of you.
Yeah, well, I just thought there was more interesting ways to feel bad about yourself.
Hey guys, I want to, but I just want to go. I want to go to some good news. I want to go to some first some good neus.
Okay.
And then can we get to what we're doing our best at?
Of course.
Yeah,
You're the boss of this.
I love that, but I'm really not. You really are, and everybody knows it, Caissie. Okay, so first, there's some good news. Number one, we got pics of J-Lo and Ben in Mexico. And guys, I think they're at Las Ventanas. And I'm going to tell you, I think the only reason you would go to Las Ventanas in the year 2021 is because I bet you they went there when they first were fucking in like 2002.
Like Deja Screw vibes. Yeah.
Right. Deja Screw. No, they're like, let's go back to where it all began. And they're like Las Ventanas. It's very clearly Las Ventanas to me. But then the headline that everybody was focusing on is that he's like all of a sudden wearing this watch. That was
from the Jenny from the Block video.
From the Jenny from the Block video. Which begs the question, did he hang on to it all this time? And if so, is this adorable?
I have a weird theory, and even if it's like, I hope it's a theory that doesn't upset people or bum people out, because even if my theory's true, I'm still cool with it. I think it's a possibility. This was in 2002. We're in 2021. So that means we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of Jenny from the Block. Are they shooting a shot-for-shot remake of Jenny from the Block?
No!
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
Oh my God, if we are being played right now, that is some fucking 2020 bullshit, and I want no part of it in 2021.
Wow.
I would be so I would be
Oh
okay.
my God, I just got chills because you're correct. I know you're fucking right now.
That's the definition of I don't need to see that. Like literally, I'm like, I don't need to see that. First of all, I feel gaslit into caring about J-Lo and Ben. I don't care. Like truly, like, first of all, it all feels very straight and boring to me. I'm like, good luck with all their projects. But like, it's just like,
Ryan.
look, if J-Lo is going to rob us of paparazzi pictures of Ben Affleck chain smoking and getting Dunkin' Donuts, like I will be so furious because that's the Ben that I know, and I celebrate him. And if he's like gonna just be wearing like suits now and like nice watches and like going to like fucking Nobu and Malibu, I'm not interested. Like I don't care. Like that is the least interesting version of Ben to me.
See, this is the age spectrum. This is how
this
we'll
is
be
what I
able
was
to
gonna
tell
say.
how old people are because they're just by the bent that they're most feeling. That we loved the chain smoking Dunkin' Donuts Ben. We loved
Don't get
him.
us wrong. Don't get us wrong.
We still loved him.
I love a chubby Ben with a big back tattoo. I love him looking sad, staring wistfully into the distance, chain smoking.
As a
I
Dunkin'
love it.
Donuts tumbles from his hands.
Tumbles.
And J-Lo's gonna come in and she's gonna fuck that all up. She's gonna make him run. She's gonna make him get like, you know what I mean?
Because he
You know
already
what, Ryan, but you know what I love more than Dunkin' Donuts sad Ben Affleck?
What?
Hot Ben Affleck.
I know, but
I
you know
love hot Ben Affleck.
But if you haven't been to enough therapy, you can find both Bens attractive.
Well, I do, obviously.
There we go. There we go.
Well, guys, if the shot-for-shot video remake, if that's real, I just want to say, A, Caissie's a genius. B, we knew that already. C, that's really good. D, do you think they're still doing it, though?
I mean, listen,
I think they're doing it.
because remember the shots that were in the Jenny from the Block
he
video.
kisses her butt.
He's kissing her
He did.
butt on a
You guys, they're
on a
fucking
yacht.
doing it. And by the way, if they're not doing it, someone needs to get in touch with them right now, like ASAP, and have it done.
This is what
This is like one of the best ideas I've ever fucking heard.
This is what the movie Ben is Back should be about. You know the movie Ben is Back? You know what I mean? With like Julia Roberts and like playing like the heroin overwrought drama that like truly was garbage. This is what it should have been. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't even know what that movie is, but Ben is back, and I'm happy for it. Listen, okay, here's another good news thing that you guys, this is like more breaking-ish news, but Elliot Page posted like a shirtless pool shot.
Looking so happy.
Like,
I haven't
so
seen
fucking
it.
happy. I know, I want to send it to you.
I'd be
I'm
happy
obsessed.
if I had abs like that
You guys.
Oh my God.
or an
my
ab
God.
at all.
He's a banger. He's a
He's like
banger.
he's fucking hot.
Yeah. He's hot.
Fucking hot.
Yeah.
And I'm like very happy. Ugh, Elliot Page, you're hot. Anyway, it's all good. But I just love that he looks so fucking happy.
If he played Ben in the Jenny on the Block reboot, then I'd be interested.
There you go.
Truly, now I'm on board. Now I
Ryan's
actually
back
care.
in.
Now I actually care. I've been non-consensually gaslit into caring about Jen and Ben for so long, but I'm like, do a reboot that's actually interesting. Elliot and Jen, I'm in.
I mean, I get it. Like most heteronormative couples, I'm like, blah. Like such a
Right.
fucking bore. I get it. Me too. Same. But there is something about the two of them that just like the nostalgia of it. How old were
Yes.
you in 2002?
I was like, oh my God, 15? Probably
Okay, so
15.
You just didn't care. It wasn't like a golden.
But
time
here's the
for
thing.
you.
Here's the thing. I think my obsession with like famous people totally got punctured when I met famous people. And then I was like, oh my God, they're all bottomless pits of need and psychotic. And like you talk to them for 5 minutes and you want to commit suicide. So like when I think about Ben and Jen and
Like who? Give us names. Give us names.
I would never. I don't have fuck you money yet, Busy. I have please thank you very much money.
Yeah, that's true. I get
But
it.
basically, it's like when I think about Ben and Jen and I try really hard to care about what they're talking about at Las Ventanas, I'm like literally like they're probably checking their phones, they're probably scrolling, Jen's probably like responding to DMs, like or whatever, and they're probably not talking about anything because.
Ooh! Wait, do you know, Ryan, that I sat next to Jennifer Lopez at a Golden Globes one year, and it was when she was with Mark Anthony.
Oh,
and
vintage.
They
Love.
did not. Like, they were not really interacting in a way in which it made me feel as though they were having a great time together. And one thing that made me feel like that was that she kept showing me text messages that her cousins and friends were sending her about how beautiful she looked.
No.
Yes. And it was like the fucking cutest thing ever. And I loved it because I was like, oh my God. I mean, like, honestly, you do look so amazing. Like, you look so beautiful. But she was like, oh, look at my cousin. My cousin just sent me this text message with my picture saying how beautiful I look. And she was like showing me her phone. I was like, J-Lo, I love you.
I love when celebrities get bored and they need to outsource their validation to strangers. I remember like literally working on a show where like an actress would just wander like lonely around the soundstage, and then she'd like stop in front of me, and I would be like, ooh, like what do I do? And then I'd just be like, you look amazing. And she's like, thank you. And then she'd like move on to the next victim, and it would just be like she was collecting compliments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
man.
just like little Pac-Man pellet.
Yeah, she just needed to like, just like eating her way through the soundstage.
Wait, can I tell you something cute about Mark Anthony? Since that was like kind of semi-cute story about J-Lo. Mark Anthony, when my son Lincoln was born, Mark Anthony loves babies. I worked at the Rosie O'Donnell show as a writer on the Rosie O'Donnell show. And I just was in the office with my son Lincoln, and he said, oh, I love babies so much. Can I hold your baby? So he was holding my baby, bouncing my baby. And he was like, look at his little socks, look at his little socks. And then he told me that he would keep a pair of his baby's socks inside his suit jacket to take out and like snuggle before he performed.
That's cute.
That's really cute.
Isn't that so cute?
Yeah, that's cute.
I also saw In the Heights, and Mark Anthony is in the Heights, and he's good in that movie.
Of course he is. He's massively talented.
I mean, he's insanely talented.
Yeah.
Well, bless. Everybody's moved on. It's great. And then there was the Rita Ora. What? Like, I didn't even understand what was happening.
Wait, Rita Ora's in the news? Holy shit. What's going on now?
Rita. Yeah, you read the item.
Okay. It's Taika Waititi, right? He's the director who directed the movie about like Nazis with Scarlett Johansson that was funny.
Oh, Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit.
Okay, yeah, never saw it, but support.
So
okay.
I guess Rita or we support. Fine, I don't know. I don't know. It seemed like a lot for me to be honest.
Finally, Scarlett Johansson gets a role. Like she can finally play something without it getting taken away from her.
Oh my god. Anyway,
you're like she's like our guest next week. Anyways,
she's my best friend, Ryan. She is my best friend.
Dear personal fucking friend. Okay, go ahead.
We've been very close since we were 3. Anyway, so I guess Rita Ora
is his
girlfriend. But he's directing a new superhero movie, right? Is this the story? And with Tessa Thompson's in it. And like,
yes,
there's this fucking whole thing on Daily Mail of the 3 of them hanging out, like having mimosas and like all making out at one point or another. All of them.
Wow, that's like MTV Cancun Spring Break energy.
Honestly, I am so fucking here for people like living their truths in whatever fucking way they want. Even if it's performative just because they were like, paparazzi are here, let's fuck with them. I don't care. I love it.
Vaccines, y'all, 1977.
That's what I'm saying. It's 77 again.
I love that.
Before I was even born.
I love that. That almost makes me like think about Rita Ora.
Wait, you know my beef with Rita Ora is that she was rude, like at a table next to me in a hotel in New York a few years ago because my kids were like in the lobby with me eating, and she was like having like drinks with people, and she was like, people bring their children in here, that's whatever. And I was like, bitch, you're in a fucking hotel. Yes, they bring their children to the lobby because also I need a fucking tequila. You know, like it's not easy. Anyway,
Rita messing up yet again.
It was rude.
Wasn't Rita Ora Rob Kardashian's girlfriend? That's all, I know that Rita Ora did a song with Prince and that she dated Rob Kardashian. That's all the info I have.
Wait, she fucking dated Rob Kardashian?
I believe so.
I don't know. See, she's like a celebrity that I think has, again, non-consensually been forced down my throat, and I don't know who she is. I don't know what she does, but she keeps popping up, and I'm like, the publicist, it must be amazing. I don't know.
Who is that for you, Caissie? Do you have one where you're just like, I don't know who this person is?
No, I know who everyone is. I feel
Yeah, that's your job. That's your job.
it's my
God,
job.
addicted. Wait, have you guys talked about, you guys have probably already talked about the Olivia Rodrigo album, Sour?
We haven't. No, this is because it just came out, babe.
Well, because, okay, so actually I didn't deal with Driver's License because it was like, this is literally a Lorde song. Like, this is like, if Lorde fucked Taylor Swift, it would be Driver's License, and I just didn't care. However, Deja Vu, which I heard about on your podcast, because you were talking about how it could have been, the reused line was not up to snuff, which I was like, honestly, like, I loved it. It was like V for Vendetta, you're gonna die on that hill. I loved it. And I was like, and I listened to Deja Vu, I became addicted to it through this podcast. It's so good. But then I listened to the album, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I just like, maybe I'm just like, wish I was 17 and someone just like stomped on my heart so I could relate. But I'm like much better off listening to like a snail mail record. You know what I mean? Like, that's my journey.
I think that that's age appropriate. And I have a 13-year-old, and currently Olivia Rodrigo has been playing so loudly in my house at all hours, at all moments, at all times. And I get it. Like, they feel it. So my kid feels it so deeply. Birdie is like in the journey with Olivia Rodrigo, like has thoughts, feelings, lots of feelings, and then more thoughts. Has to tell me things about it, has to show me pictures.
I want to start a fight with my boyfriend just so I can relate to it. I'm like grasping at Coke straws here. I'm trying to connect and I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stir up some drama. Like, I wish I could relate to Taylor Swift. I wish I could relate to these, like, and I just can't. I'm too old.
But
and
Ryan, this is what I'm gonna say to you.
What?
You got to know when it's time to move on. And it's time to, it's like you're not a teenager anymore.
I know.
And you don't feel those things in the same way that you used to. And like, you don't, and honestly, let's celebrate that.
No, I know. Truly.
I'm also going to say, I don't know you very super well, Ryan, but I'm going to guess that you probably maybe never would have related super well, because I bet you had interesting and eclectic tastes all along. Am I correct?
God, honey, like, yes. Okay, the accuracy, I'm stunned. Okay, so growing up, I was like a trip hop freak randomly. Like, I loved Portishead, Massive Attack, Tricky, Sneaker Pimps,
yes.
And I also was a huge shoegaze fan, still am. Shoegaze, like My Bloody Valentine, Ride, Slow Dive. So that was like very much my shit, like when I was 12.
Yeah.
And that's like what I was listening to. So she was a little advanced, you know what I mean? It was a little like, I remember like going to Barnes and Noble, and like there was like, that's how you find the music, is like in those little headphone stations.
Yes, sure.
And it would be like similar artists, and I would just like be there for truly like 8 hours finding new bands and like writing them down so I could like download music from them.
There you go. Yeah, I just feel like you are on a different journey than the average 13-year-old.
I was like blasting the Stealing Beauty soundtrack.
There you go.
That's
there
it.
you go.
It's so funny though, because I feel like I have, amazing taste in music.
You, Busy, can we wait, Busy?
I really do.
No, Busy, you always post things and I'm like, wow, you like know your shit. Because I'm a music freak, and when it comes to like the music on stuff. Well, you really good. I mean, I just have to say, like, hats off. Like, it's good.
Thank you. But I was going to say that, like, that's who I am, and therefore I birthed a child who's like, their own human and gay, non-binary, but like just fucking loves and lives for pop music, and nothing hurts my soul more than when I'm like, I'm trying to play them the things that I think they would really connect to. And Birdie's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to like Taylor, Olivia, Harry. And I'm like, cool. And not that I don't like it. Honestly, it has given me a new appreciation for pop music. An appreciation I maybe didn't have before. But I also am like, are you doing this just to like fucking spite me?
To spite
a little bit?
you.
It might be a little bit, maybe a little bit of that. I remember like my boyfriend in high school like showed me the Velvet Underground and Nico, and I was like, this is so stupid. Just like being a bratty, I was like, just being a bratty gay bitch from hell. And then like the second he left, I was like, hee, and then like listened to like curled up to my little record player and like listened to it like full sobbing, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, it's very much my way, so I relate.
There's nothing worse than, and this is, I'm talking about the 90s here, obviously. As a young girl, anything that you liked was sort of like minimized, especially by like rock snob guys, which is what was like, we had them in abundance in the 90s. So, just minimized by like guys that were interested in music. And so anything that girls liked, and I'm sure this is since like probably back in like the 60s, like Beatles times or whatever. And so there is nothing worse than like now having a guy say like, oh, actually, this is pretty good. Like when some throwback is playing and you're like about like Rick Springfield, Working Class Dog, like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And I'm always like, it always was.
I blame Carson Daly. Growing up, watching TRL, the music was always so gendered. It was like Britney, Christina, and then it was like the boy bands, and then it was like the new metal, Limp Bizkit, Korn, and like obviously Carson, that's where his alliances were. So he'd be like, anyways, Britney's on top again, whatever. Like, I want to listen to Freak on a Leash. I'm like, you're actually obsessed with a song called Freak on a Leash. Like, please check into therapy. You know what I mean?
No.
Like literally, and like you're like dogging like Christina Aguilera. Like, get a life. But it was like so gendered back then.
It really
well,
was.
it still is. I mean, that's the whole thing. And this is why I love Harry Styles forever, because he's like been very vocal about the fact that like you don't need to dismiss One Direction just because like why? Like teenage girls and young women all over the world loved it. Like, so it means it doesn't have any credibility. Like, fuck you. Like, he's literally essentially said that in interviews, which I think is so badass. He's like, yeah, just because like girls like it, it means that I'm supposed to somehow like diss it and say that it was like a cheesy fucking dumb thing that got me to the place where I'm going to make the stuff I want to make now. It's like, no, I'm not buying it. Anyway, I love that about Harry Styles. I really love Harry Styles now.
No, he's great. He's great. He's actually has good music. It's true.
And I really like Olivia Rodrigo, and I just can't. Tonight, I said to Birdie, I was like, I cannot, you have to turn the music down, please. Like, I can't, my head hurts.
It hurts.
I just can't listen to it again. And Birdie
Her first song is the song called Brutal, and it's like very intense, and it gives me like really strong, like, all I really want is some patience, the beginning of Jagged Little Pill. And I'm like, all I really want is like better. I'm sorry. It is. It's like, but like, does it stress you out? I'm like, I'm stressed, but I'm like here for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, listen, Liz Phair tweeted the like praise to Olivia Rodrigo on the album, and I thought that was kind of cute. I thought that was cute. She's Birdie. Her name is Birdie. And she keeps you safe while you're walking around your neighborhood, running errands or venturing out on your own. Guys, did you hear me talk about Birdie? I'm not talking about my kid. I'm talking about this amazing little device that I ordered. Honestly, guys, I ordered this for my entire family. Also some friends.
A bunch of friends.
Before I even knew they were advertising on the podcast. It's hard not to worry about the what ifs of life. And we all know the thing about carrying our car keys between our knuckles, right? But here's the deal. Birdie is a personal safety alarm that's designed to be easy to carry and simple to use. You don't have to carry your keys between your knuckles for some fake punch that's never even going to happen because, God forbid, you know what I mean? When you activate your Birdie, it's a quick pull. You practice it when you get it. We all practiced it in my house. It was really fun, actually. I mean, it's real loud and scary, but it was kind of fun to practice. The alarm emits a 130 decibel siren and flashing strobe light, and it helps deter an attack. Also, if you're just like out in public, can you imagine you pull the thing, the loud 130 decibel siren goes off, there's a strobe light flashing. Yeah, that person who's trying to attack you is gonna run away. Like no one's sticking around for that.
Right.
Here's the thing. Unlike pepper spray or other deterrents, Birdie is not a danger to you.
Can't be used against you.
Can't be used against you. I don't know if you heard me tell this story last time we talked about this. I had pepper spray for a long time. I kept it in the glove box of my car one summer. It exploded. I got in my car. I pepper sprayed myself, you guys. No. You don't want to do it. I promise you that. And the other thing is Birdie goes wherever I go. It comes in multiple colors. I have a really cute teal one.
I have orange. It's right there on your keys. So
it's on like it has a big brass keychain. So I have all my keys on it. And I love it. I love it. Over 300,000 Birdie alarms have been sold and they have thousands of 5-star reviews. So guys, join the flock today for a safer tomorrow. Honestly, I allow my own Birdie. Oh no, I'm going to cry. Oh. It's hard. It's hard because Birdie's getting so big.
Yeah.
And we're in New York now and Birdie wants to go out in the world and like go to the bodega and get snacks with their friends and like
be
all of it and be independent. And they should be able to have that freedom. And at the same time, I want to know that they're safe and they carry their Birdie alarm with them. And honestly, it gives me peace of mind knowing that Birdie has it. And I think it gives them peace of mind. I think Birdie likes knowing that they have their Birdie with them. So guys, I'm serious. I'm like advertising this, but also a real user and like trust, like give it, my child uses it.
Really big fans. Yeah.
We're really big fans. So right now, She's Birdie is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase when you go to she'sbirdie.com/best. So go to She's Birdie, spelled SHESBIRDIE.com/best for 15% off your first purchase. That's she'sbirdie.com/best. It's my favorite. Here's what I'm gonna say about athletic greens. I love to mix it in my smoothies, athletic greens. Is that a good one?
That seemed like
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
When do you take it? Athletic greens. I'm mixing in my smoothie in the mornings. Athletic greens, athletic greens, athletic greens.
This is like
Second?
It's like The Doors. It feels like The Doors.
I did feel that vibe. I felt that vibe, Caissie. I felt like it was like hair. I felt like I was giving you hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
You know that I like do a lot of workouts. I'm going back into the workout studios. That's true.
Yeah.
Because they have the workout studio here is like show proof of vaccination. Come on in. And I just love that Athletic Greens is truly like a comprehensive daily nutritional beverage. You can mix it in. It's like difficult for me personally to maintain like all of the nutritional things that I want to in a day, in any given day.
Right.
And to give like your body all the things that like you need, especially if you're working out a lot, especially if you have busy schedules and you don't sleep enough and all of the things, all of the stressors, right? And
I just like, I mean, I just love that it's very simple. Like we had a whole drawer full of junk, just like all these bottles and bottles and bottles. And so I love that it's like simple to make this smoothie.
It's simple because it's one tasty little scoop of Athletic Greens, and that contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, multimineral, probiotic, greens superfood blend, and more. And they all work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet, increase energy and focus, aid in digestion, and support a healthy immune system, all without the need to take multiple products or pills. Guys, I am like looking for the journey where I don't have to take multiple fucking pills a day. And Athletic Greens is the way that I do it. It's one scoop. I put it in a smoothie. I mix it on up, and then I'm like, done for the day.
And it tastes good. And also, like, my whole family is using it. My husband, like, works out with the public. He works with the public. And so that makes me happy that he's using it in the morning. And it's just like part of your morning routine. So it's easy to stick to.
It's friendly whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. And it doesn't taste, it tastes good. It doesn't like taste like it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. It tastes very good.
Yeah, it's delicious. People get scared when you say greens, because I think people are like, oh, green juice. They get a little freaked out by it because, green juice. But it's delicious. It's delicious. So don't let the green color freak you out.
No. And right now, Athletic Greens is doubling down on supporting your immune system during these times. They're offering our audience a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase if you visit the link today. You're basically never going to have to buy vitamin D again. Vitamin D has been very important for me too. Like, I had to up my vitamin D and my kids' vitamin D. Once we moved to New York, I had no idea how much vitamin D I needed. Starting 2021 with a simple, sustainable nutritional habit is Athletic Greens MO. So whether you're looking for peak performance or better health, covering your bases with Athletic Greens makes investing in your energy, immunity, and gut health each day simple and tasty and efficient. So guys, visit athleticgreens.com/busy and join health experts, athletes, and health-conscious go-getters like me around the world who make a daily commitment to their health every single day. Again, simply visit athleticgreens.com/busy and get your free year's supply of vitamin D. That's amazing.
That's
and
incredible
5
offer.
free travel packs today. That's truly amazing. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Because you're probably vitamin D deficient, and we don't want that for you.
Everyone is. Everyone is.
We don't want that for you.
Get that vitamin D. Get it. Get it. Well, what else is happening, Caissie? Anything you want to bring up? Oh, those fucking... I mean, it's all about taking away girls' rights. In Florida, did you guys see this? That they photoshopped these girls... the yearbook pictures.
Their chests
out of the yearbook pictures. Oh, Ryan, it's literally insane. If there was any like cleavage or chest showing, they just like put like a black, like painted in another tank top over it. So it was like hiding their chests. So no chest skin was showing. It is so fucking insane.
It's insane.
Well,
they did it
why though?
Okay, so I read the story. They did it to 80 girls, I believe, 80 photos. And just the teacher who was the advisor to the yearbook did it without any pressure. She just decided to do it. Like, she decided that was the move.
She's and this is feminism.
She was assisted by 2 of the high school yearbook staffers, and they're very sorry, kids. You're very bad at Photoshop. I really wish at the very least you had practiced Photoshop, because did you see the one in the lavender V-neck sweater?
I mean, it is like one of the most insane.
Just looks like it. I mean, like, you should look it up, because there's a poor young woman in a lavender V-neck, like ribbed sweater. And then there's just like an off color, like lavender V that they just like put like a thick lavender V that they painted on. But like the V like extends up over her shoulders. So she looks like some kind of weird superhero. Like,
it is fucking bonkers.
All the girls will have no choice but to become stand-up comedians after this.
Oh my God. It's so weird.
It's so weird. Like, literally, like, that is so bizarre.
Because, like, I'm like, what? This teacher's just like, oh my God, everyone's going to spank it to the yearbook. Like,
I don't want to incite the boys into a frenzy. Like, oh my God, get a life.
It's just so weird. And the superintendent was like, just said,
Oops.
we missed the mark.
Oops, we fucked up.
We missed the mark. We'll do better next time. But woo!
Wow, the mark wasn't missed; it was invisible. Like literally, like wow.
The mark
that
was
is insane.
photoshopped.
Yeah, the mark was. Sorry.
We erased the mark. It's so weird to me. I mean, boobs are not a secret, and I'm so exhausted.
Well, it's not just it's exhausting because, Birdie is taking on this part of their dress code with some other kids in their school, because if you're like biologically female, you're not allowed to wear spaghetti straps or like show or like have it be too low cut or show stomach skin. And Birdie was like, why? That's insane. Like, so like a boy could wear a tank top, but the girls or biologically female students can't. And they're like, the reasoning always is like, because they don't want to distract the boys in class. And it's like, dudes, that's not the issue. Like, that's not what the girls shouldn't have to like compensate for the fact that boys are fucking disgusting. Maybe some people should parent better.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's just wild because guess what? Okay, so there's also issues, I know, at many schools where girls who have smaller breasts wear tank tops and it's not an issue, but girls who have larger breasts are like called out for wearing the same tank top because it just, frankly, it looks different on girls who are larger breasted. And, and that's just like, it's not a fair policy because you can't apply it similarly. But here's the thing. Guys, everyone, parents, like think back to when you were that age and think back to what's distracting. Like then if we're going to ban things that are distracting, we have to get rid of boys in gray sweatpants. We have to get rid of, hot English teacher men. We have to get rid of...
Well, we kind of maybe should get rid of hot English teacher men in high school. Do you know?
Yeah. I mean, this is true.
And I think we can all agree, like, I'm a guy wearing a tank top right now, and we can all agree that it's highly distracting, right?
It is. I am very distracted.
I'm having a hard time focusing on this podcast. It's very wild. And it's like, and by the way, just being 16 is distracting. Like, you're horny for literally everything. You're horny for your own self, your own hands. Like, it's a weird time.
Well, I wasn't.
It also pisses the weird. It pisses the weird.
You weren't.
I wasn't. I didn't know how to do that till much later because I was like, very confused about what was happening. I thought that the only goal was just to make a guy come. I didn't know that I could have any pleasure or feelings, Caissie, but that's in my book, guys. You can just
But it's also really strange too because it's very I was a cheerleader in high school and that you're walking around with like your literal ass cheeks hanging out of a skirt for like a school sanctioned activity that the school
for spirit.
The school gave you that outfit. They gave you that outfit, and the school pays for someone to teach you to do tricks where someone picks you up and you show your whole everything to the entire school. So, like, what's a tank top? Like, what? It's
yeah. The patriarchy needs to land on some clear branding because it sounds muddled to me.
Yeah,
it is muddled, and it's annoying, and it's fucking. And you know what? These kids these days, they're not gonna fucking take it.
No,
they just are not gonna put up with it. These kids, my kid is in 6th grade and is like, absolutely not. And I was like, I literally was like, do you want me to write an email to the dean? Should I write an email about the thing to Birdie and their friend? And Birdie was like, no, Mom, we can handle this. And I was like, no, okay, I guess so.
Oh, and by the way, you can do whatever you want in school and you can do whatever you want in the yearbook. They all have phones, and if they want to strip down naked in the bathroom and take a photo of themselves and send it to the entire school, they can also do that. So,
guys, also, I'm just reaching an age. That's my voice. Guys, also, I'm just reaching an age where,
I'm into that. I'm into being a thought. And it's hard. It's hard to be. How do you be a thought while maintaining your integrity and being funny and interesting? It's such a hard tightrope.
Hold a book, Ryan. Hold a book.
Just hold a book over your fucking junk while you're doing it.
I like to read. Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into what we're doing our bests at. Caissie?
Okay, what I did my best at this week is I just tried to, I tried to like be the kind of leader that I always wanted to have as a leader. Like I was in a leadership situation, in a work situation. It was a rocky situation. You
guys listen to the podcast, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
I've been like going through a cuckoo situation, and it was a really short time, and it was just like really just a wild few weeks, and and I tend to not delegate. I tend to try to take on too much myself. And this time it was not possible to not delegate. I had to delegate. And so I really delegated, and it was so much work that I knew things were going to get fucked up. I just knew it. It was like a fact that things were going to fall through the cracks, and so I could just see it like on the team's faces, and like Busy, and I think people that listen to the podcast know, like I hate to make a mistake. And I think a lot of the people that I work with hate to make mistakes. So I could just see people like coming to me like with apologies when things fell through the cracks, being like, I'm so sorry this got messed up. And I was like, oh my God, like we made it to this day and this thing just got messed up it's like a miracle. Like, but let's not stand around apologizing. Let's like, now that it's messed up, like I think it's like great that we figured it out, that it's messed up. Let's just fix it. And, I really tried to use my brain and put on that hat where I was trying to think of like what I would want in a leader and a manager and be like that. And, and then when it was kind of getting to the point where it was all over, I also tried to let everybody vent about their feelings about it. Like once all the work was done, I felt like there was a lot of...
The postmortem is important.
The postmortem. And I kept remembering, the most important thing I think I ever learned working for Andy Cohen is that he always used to say, people just want to be heard. People just want to be heard. And so he always had time to just hear what people wanted to say. And I always thought that was really great about him, that he would just like, he would say like, I'm not saying I'm going to do anything about it or that I can do anything about it, but I'll hear you.
Not saying that I even care. I'm just saying I'll listen.
Not that he was being insincere, just like, I'm not saying I can fix it, but I can listen to you and I can let you get your feelings out about it. So that was just, and I think it kind of worked, because I think even though it was like a rocky roller coaster, everybody walked away being like, okay, it's fine. I'm okay.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. And Caissie, I'm so glad that job is fucking over, because I did at one moment think it was going to kill you.
I kind of
it sounds like you're describing show running. Are you show running? Were you show running?
I was show running two things at one. I was show running two things at one time, and two really different things, but related things. But it was just like, it was too much.
Oh yes, honey, I know.
Yeah.
My show running sentences were tingling. I was like, it sounds like you've been. Yes. It's hard. It's a hard job. It requires 80 different skill sets that are somehow opposed to being one person. Do you know what I mean? Like person should possess all the attributes that exist in a showrunner, but you have to do it.
It was just too much. And it was like, and it also wasn't my favorite kind of show running. So I just was like, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? And just a million other things that I could just go on and on about, but then I'd owe you all a copay. Everyone wants to be heard, but then sometimes it turns into therapy, and then I owe you all $20 for a copay. So,
and you have to like be aware when you turn your friends into your therapist, and then you have to like not do that anymore.
Don't want an actual therapist.
Yeah.
Of which I have. Ryan, what are you doing your best at this week?
Oh, golly gosh. You're catching me at a funny time. I mean, as I mentioned, I had this party on Saturday, which was great because it was seeing all our friends after a very long absence. And, my show had just come out, my boyfriend's book had just come out, and it was this kind of like, almost like my friend said to me, she goes, you're like living the highlight reel of your life. Like, which is like honestly kind of like chilling, because you're like it's all downhill from here. Like, I feel traumatized from working in this business. I've been writing for TV for about 8 years now. And you know, we are guaranteed long stretches of unemployment. That's just part of the gig, whatever. And so whenever something is going too well, I can't help but feel like a year from now, my house will be foreclosed on. I'm like, everything's going to disappear like poof. And I've really had to like kind of just like live in the gratitude of the moment, and because it really is so incredible, all these things that are happening. But again, I feel like I just have this, it's a really terrifying business to be in. And I feel like we're taught that like, we can't really celebrate things because that just basically puts a curse on us or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
Is like, yeah. So I'm kind of
Caissie is the queen of it.
Yeah, so I just need to be like, babe, this is chic, and like own the chicness, and like be like, it's all gonna be like fine, like whatever, and like what comes up must come down, and then that's just another part. I've been down before and I've gotten back up, and it's all part of the journey. I mean, so much of surviving this business is just like emotionally bottoming until you can be a top, and like, you know what I mean? And like right now, I'm a fucking top. Right now, I'm a fucking top. I'm like, you know. But I'm gonna emotionally bottom again. Maybe I'll emotionally bottom tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And it's all part of the journey. It's ebbs and flows, and just trying to like be in that gratitude more rather than thinking like, okay, like when is the rug gonna be pulled out from underneath me? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that being in any moment is really fucking hard. Like, especially like always, right? Like being in. It's like people like, I'm getting married. I'm so excited to get married. I can't wait for my wedding. I'm having my wedding. I'm so excited. I had my wedding. My wedding's behind me. Yeah, we're probably gonna have a baby. Like I should like try to have a baby. Like, don't you think I should have a baby? I should probably try to have a baby. Like so much of our lives, whether it's like career oriented or personal or whatever, is like looking toward these things in the future. And so rarely do we allow ourselves like the opportunity or the ability to just be like, holy fuck, like this moment is this. And it's never going to be this again. And like, shit, this is nice. This is nice. Might be the best, might not be the best. We don't fucking know. Right. You know, you're saying you might be, you know, put back on the bottom of the pancake stack in the future.
But you're still a pancake.
But you know what? But you don't fucking know it. You don't know it. You could be a slice of butter. I don't know.
You're not a toast. Listen. You're not a boring whole wheat toast. You're still a pancake.
And by the way, can I tell you something? I fucking love whole wheat, like boring as whole wheat toast. I will like devour.
Yeah, me too.
It's true.
Delicious.
And that's what you have to remember is that like someone has to be whole wheat toast sometimes. You know what I mean? Like that's. Yeah. That's all part of a complete breakfast. So sometimes you're the top pancake. Sometimes you're the bottom pancake. Sometimes you're the fucking toast. You know, it's all part of a complete breakfast.
And, but always you're a carb is what
it's
we're saying.
Always a carb.
You're always
I mean,
going to be a carb.
Because you know who's an egg? J-Lo. You know who's a bacon? Ben Affleck. Sometimes they're together.
When they're together.
Very
Eggs and
true.
bacon.
Very true.
Okay, what am I doing my best at? Okay. Oh, shit. I mean, here's what I'm going to say. I have a lot to say. But I'm going to save a lot of it for Act 2, Act 3, whatever we call these things. I don't know, guys. This is barely a podcast. We're holding it together.
You always say that, and it's so well produced. As a listener, you always
Thank you,
say that,
Ryan.
Vicky. And it's like not true, babe. It's this mythology you have about this podcast that is incorrect.
But Ryan, I enjoy my own mythology about this being like. But to me, it is because first of all, pandemic. Now listen, don't let this professional-looking mic fool you. Raymond Padilla ordered me this intense mic apparatus holder because I was like holding the mic like Caissie is right now. And I was like, it's just so janky. I need to feel more official. And so he like got this whole thing that hooks onto the desk and whatever. Okay, here's what I'm doing. Wait, hold on. I'm getting a text really fast. Hold on one second. Hold on.
I
Not
hope
yet.
it's important. Is it about salad? If it's about salad, I will fucking lose my shit.
What's about salad? You eating a salad?
You know, salad is like the fourth host of this podcast.
The only salad you can get a text from is the La Scala chopped salad, because that's the only salad that fucking matters.
You know, the last time I was in Los Angeles, I postmated a La Scala chopped salad to my hotel. And Mark Silverstein was so fucking mad at me, like with jealousy, because he was in New York still. And he was just like, how dare you? Here's what I'm doing my best at. I was very, very sad last week and I couldn't stop crying. And I was like, crying a lot, like really deeply grieving. And here's what I'm doing my best at. I'm doing my best with the fact that like, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to like move through shit in the way that you need to move through it. And I think that the stuff that we talk about with Jessica St. Clair in this next interview really is a part of what I'm talking about. I've heard this from several people this week and like this past week, and this is what I was sort of experiencing. A lot of people were like, I'm supposed to be feeling great now, right? Like, I'm vaccinated. My friends are vaccinated. I got to see my parents. We're getting to do this other thing. My kids are going back to school. And I just am like, can't get my shit together. I'm like a fucking mess. And so I'm saying, I don't know who needs to hear this, but that's okay. Like what you're doing now is like, it's a process. It's like a part of the process. And let yourself lie in bed and cry and binge watch Special. It's fantastic. You can't, it's like it's a great thing on a day when you're like, you're sad and you just want to like just lay in bed and just Netflix Special. Playing House also, Jessica's show is like a great sweet thing to just binge watch. I'm a person, Caissie's giving me a look.
No, Girls
What?
5 Eva on Peacock.
Oh, sure.
All
Girls
these
5
things?
Eva on Peacock is very enjoyable as well. But I'm a person like, I don't lie down. Like, I never stop. I never fucking stop. And if I worked, like, even when I had strep throat during the filming of Girls 5 Eva, which I was like 90% sure for like 7 hours it was COVID, but then ended up being strep throat. Like, when I got home after my test and everything, I was like still organizing my closet, and then was like texting Raymond, my assistant, who obviously like couldn't be in person because what if I had COVID, whatever. And I was like, should we try to do a podcast interview while I'm home from Girls 5 Eva? Like, I never fucking stop. And so all my point is that we have been going for a long time, guys. And we have been in like fight or flight mode. We've been flighting and fighting. We've been fighting. We have been fighting and flighting. And so if you find yourself in a moment where like all of a sudden I can like go meet my friends for cocktails outside, or there's a thing and a dinner party, but then the next day I spend the entire day crying, that's fucking okay. You're just processing with the grief and the fucking insanity of, and by the way, the last year and a half, sure, but also the last 4 years, definitely, for most people.
Yeah. If you say you'd been like locked in a basement for a year, say like a madman locked you in a basement for a year.
Guys, we're essentially all Kimmy Schmidt is what I'm saying to you.
And you finally got out. Like, you wouldn't just be okay on that day. You would
be definitely happy. We're all happy.
You'd be happy, but you wouldn't like your life wouldn't just resume as normal. You'd have to like build up to it.
But also
it's not a light switch, it's more of a dimmer.
It's right, but like I think that everybody's kind of expecting a light switch. And so I know personally that last week like really hit me like a ton of bricks, because I'm like, oh fuck, I am not PMSing. Like I'm like pre-ovulation. You know what I mean? Like I am like hormones are high. Like I'm great. So why am I sobbing uncontrollably in my closet right now? Like why can I like not get out of bed? Like what the fuck is happening? And I was being so hard on myself, and then had this realization like, oh, we're processing all of this shit. And I have like a bunch of personal stuff from even before COVID that I needed to process. Anyway, my point is I'm doing my best because I've like really come to terms with all of that shit and like really, really, truly have. And then also I did hire these closet organizers that were amazing. And you guys, they like Marie Kondo'd the shit out of my closet. And I know you're going to listen to this you're going to listen to this interview right now and you're going to be like, busy, be careful. But I have like 6 gigantor boxes that are going to be shipped to Poshmark of clothing. But Caissie, don't give me that look because listen.
How much of that shit are you going to buy back from yourself?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Oh my God.
Half of it. Half.
Honey, no, that reminds me of the Lindsay Lohan own documentary where she got like $5,000 from like selling all her clothes, like in that the weird place like below her apartment, and then she spent like $20,000 on new clothes. I was like, you know what I mean? It was spooky spaghetti.
I think the thing that I think about you is that you are sentimental, and whenever you get rid of something, you're always like so mad that you got rid of it.
Well, this was what last week was about, right? Wait, Caissie we didn't even do the follow-up. First of all, Saturday morning at like 4 in the morning on Caissie's time, I texted her a pair of lights that I found on First Dibs, which is like a fancy resale, like antique thing. A pair of lights that are listed that I am convinced were my fucking lights from my house in Los Angeles that we sold to these people. And I'm like incensed that they have put them, like sold them to, I'm like outraged. And like at 5 in the morning, Caissie gets this text from me. It was like, these fucking people are selling my lights. They didn't even keep them in the fucking house. Like I was so mad about it. But like, here's the thing about the clothes. I really like lost my fucking mind with that shit. But here's the thing about the clothes. It's just that I have so many clothes, yes. Caissie. And like when it was it's Kiki's friend, who's a stylist here in New York, who came in and she was just like, I've never seen anything like this. She's like, honey, I know these pieces. Like, you have clothes from 2000 here. Like you have like, and I was like, great. Yes, obviously we're not getting rid of those, right? And she's like, I mean, are we keeping them? And I'm like, why aren't we, Archie? Why wouldn't we keep them? She's like, because first of all, could you ever fit into them again? And I was like, that is beside the point. But like, I mean, anyway, I do think that parting with some of these clothing items will be good for me. I think clearing out is a good thing in this moment in time for myself. I really do. I really do.
I think sometimes I cut people out of my life more easily than I cut things out of my life sometimes.
What? Ooh, savage love. I was like, cut me, baby. Cut me. The first cut is the deepest. Love.
It's hard sometimes, but I'm like, if I'm willing to like kick a person out of my life, I have to be able to let a hoodie go, Okay.
Wow.
So wait, so listen. So these ladies are here. They're here for like all last week, cleaning the shit out of my clothing. Like this is literally a size 0. When, like, what is, whatever. Like, pulling stuff out, making me go through things. I'm like, okay, fine. And then, Michelle, I had forgotten that I had bought these tickets to this upstate vintage fair a month ago. I had bought these tickets. And so Michelle meets me upstate at this vintage fair. And I bought 15 vintage dresses and brought them home. And I was like, I was like, I can't not. But by the way, it's the opposite of Lindsay Lohan because, well, first of all,
For so many reasons.
Tell me this dress isn't beautiful.
No,
right
it's
here.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Honestly, I'm very much who gives a shit. Buy more shit. I don't give it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm shopping till I'm dropping. Who cares?
No, I know.
Who cares?
Well, clothing makes me really happy, and I love beautiful things. And I'm like essentially a Carrie Bradshaw, but like all my equity is in my shit. But like now, I'm just like a little grossed out by it myself, and also I feel like I don't know. There are things that I'm like, why am I holding on to that? What does that mean to me? I have so many things. I have so much stuff from Busy Tonight, so many clothes from Busy Tonight. And then I'm like, should I hold on to that stuff? Should I let it go? Oh, wait, shit. Is that how I stole from Universal?
Whoa. I understand. I got all these like props from Special that I was like, initially my producer was like, do you want this? And it's this giant thing that I'm like, what the? It's a sign for egg woke. Like, I don't know. But then I'm like, maybe I'll want it one day to like look at that I did this thing. It's hard.
I think you will. So we had some stuff delivered to the house from the moving company, among which was the Busy Tonight neon.
The big neon sign from
The big
That's chic. You
neon
gotta
sign
do
that said Busy Tonight. And then there's two of them. What's the other one say?
because we had one in the bar. I think they both say Busy Tonight.
I don't think they do.
One says "Hey guys" and one
Hey
says,
guys. Yeah. So I have two gigantor neon signs now. One that says Busy Tonight and one that says Hey guys. So look for that soon once I figure out how to get it all hooked up. But
Ryan, what's the oldest outfit you have?
Oh, well, actually, I just wore it for an Interview Magazine photo shoot. I did this, Interview Magazine asked me to get, I took a lot of Polaroids when I was younger, like from like ages like 16 to like 25. And then
you were a real, what was his name? Cobra Snake Starship.
Oh, ew,
what was his name?
Mark Hunter preying on like weird 16-year-olds.
Yeah, but what was the guy's, what was it called?
The Cobra Snake.
Cobra Snake.
So I shared like all my major Polaroids, and for the photo shoot, I thought it'd be fun to wear something from like when I was a teenager. So it's this like ratty Mark by Mark tank top. So Mark by Mark Jacobs, like 2005, 2006. It was like when Mark was fat and on heroin, so he was like doing really good work. Remember that? Remember? Honey.
Wait, let me just tell you something. Guess what? The 4 pairs of shoes that the ladies let me put into a bin that was just like archived were from that era of Mark.
It is
and
the best
their shoes from that era of Mark and the stylist Archie was like, I get it. We have to save these. And I was like, yes, we do. We are saving them.
The second Mark went to the gym and moved to Chelsea, it was game over. Like, we all had to pay for that body. We all had to pay. But when
they say you choose the face or the body, and in this case, it was the fashion or the body.
It was. But when he was wearing glasses and had like kind of greasy hair and like wore these like weird little sweaters and doing drugs, he had like 2005, 2006 was iconic. And so I have a lot of pieces from that period of Mark, and it's like, it's a little ratty, but I can't part. And sometimes you might use it in an Interview Magazine photo shoot. Is this inspirational? Right. Yeah.
Guys, let me tell you something. They culled my wardrobe. They culled it the way that people cull sharks after a shark attack in North Carolina. It's so fucking dark. Anyway, they went through my clothes and were ruthless. Do you know what is still hanging in? And this was like, they were doing a majority of the work without me, pulling, culling, getting rid of shit. And then they like had it out for me. And then I had to like go through the stuff that they were like, you got to get the fuck rid of this shit. And then I had to like essentially plead my case. Like, yes, I have to keep this like male dress from 2002 or whatever. But guess what's hanging in my fucking closet that they didn't even fucking touch?
What?
My camo Gap cargo shorts from, get ready for it, 1995.
Okay, my teeth just fell out.
I have my Gap camo like cargo shorts are like in with the like cute shorts that I should put into heavy rotation. And I was like, that's right. Because you know what? It is worth it sometimes to hang on to things for literal decades.
That sounds like an Audrey Dawson's Creek outfit, and I'm here for it.
Well, you know what I am actually sad about? I had a lot of Audrey's wardrobe, and I did fucking get rid of all that shit. I sold it. I remember it. I remember the moments when it went away, and I should have just like held on to it, and I didn't, and I'm sad about it.
Lizzie,
Caissie, I'm sad.
I have to take this time. I'd be remiss to tell you that I was a huge fan of you on Dawson's Creek. You came along when that show needed, let's say, some help. And it was snoozy fucking Kurtz. And you came in and I was like, thank fucking God, some personality. You have Joey like a fucking drip over there, like with coats, hugging her coats and just being so boring. Jen's being relegated to like D storylines in the radio station. And you came in like a force of fucking nature. And you're like, I guess I'll carry this show on my goddamn back. Are you going to pick my chiropractor? Like, are you gonna, like, is WB gonna pay for my fucking chiropractor, bitch? Because I'm going to work.
And guess what? They did not. They did not.
No, but I
appreciate it. I love the shout out in the first episode back of Special of the Dawson's Creek shout out.
Yes.
It's very sweet. And I also just loved the spoiler alert that the boss like screamed at everybody. I won't say it in case you guys haven't watched Dawson's Creek. But if you haven't watched Dawson's Creek and you want to, and you are going to also binge Special, which is less episodes, don't watch the first episode of season 2 because they tell you what happens at the very end of Dawson's Creek.
Watch all of Dawson's, then
first. But that's a lot. That's a big order.
Someone tweeted, like, being mad. They're like, I can't believe they spoiled the ending. And I'm like, babe, it's like 15 years later. You gotta move on. Like, at a certain point.
We've talked about this on the podcast.
20.
People get mad if you spoil the end of Wizard of Oz. People will be like, don't say the Wicked Witch dies.
Oh my God. It's like,
I've never seen it. I don't know. I didn't know. I've never seen it. Now I can't watch it. Also, by the way, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You can still watch it.
Also, Dawson's dad, Mitch, was like formative to my gay existence. He like gave you gay Tom of Finland dad realness. And I was like, I didn't buy for a second that he actually was fucking Gail. And I loved that. I was like, honey, yeah.
No, he was
like,
definitely gay.
yeah. He's like, he was serving you like leather dilf realness. He was going to the creek, you know what I mean? After hours. Like, he was rowing that boat.
I hated how he died, though. I hated that. That was like the saddest, worst thing ever.
The ice cream cone. It's like, honey, like, who did you dirty? Like,
I don't know. It was fucked up.
Like, did you piss off one of the writers? Like, what happened? Like, you should not have, like...
I just had a real New York moment yesterday because we were crossing the street and in the middle of 10th Ave, Jason Moore, who's a director who, you know, notably has directed a ton of movies, but he like had directed Avenue Q on Broadway. He was like a big musical director, and then he had done an episode of Dawson's Creek when I was there.
So he directed Sisters with Tina Fey, I think.
That's right.
No?
He did direct. Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Ryan, way to go.
Yeah. Well, he's gay. You know, we know.
He's gay.
Yeah.
But literally crossing 10th Avenue. In the middle of 10th Avenue, there's Jason Moore, and we're like, everybody starts screaming, and then we have to like race back to one side of the street so we can talk and chat and whatever. And he actually has just gotten back from the Dominican Republic, where he was for many months filming a film.
No, I know what
with J-Lo.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. It's the Army Hammer one that he like
recast.
Recast.
Had to recast. And guys, I'm going to have drinks and I'm going to find out the whole fucking story. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. And then I probably won't be able to tell you all of it, but I'll tell you what I can.
Yeah. We just want to know.
I need that.
Who Army Hammer ate. That.
Yeah.
I mean.
What's eating Army Hammer?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Are you kidding me?
Didn't we talk about it on the podcast? We did, didn't we?
Of course.
At the time?
Of course.
That and just screams at me. What?
No, we had that like the New Year's Eve with Army in Cabo.
Oh,
I must
Did
have
I
missed
not
this.
talk about this?
I must have missed this. Wait, was this when you were?
She's like, wait, what?
Wait,
I don't
was this when you were in Cabo the same time as I was? Wait, was I in Cabo?
I don't know.
It was we were DMing. It was when it was like right before, it was like December. Yeah.
It was before
yeah,
the pandemic. It was 2020.
Yes. Yeah, and you were staying at some hotel, and I was staying at some other hotel. Remember
Yes.
that? It was
Yes.
that was that. Oh wow,
And
that's
Kelly
so crazy.
Oxford.
Yeah,
we were there with
yeah.
we were there with a group of people. We were staying at the same hotel that Army Hammer was with. That Army Hammer was staying at with a bunch of people. But like we sort of peripherally knew each other, and his ex-wife had been on my show, who was his then wife. And so like we like chatted a bit, and he like read my book, which is like a wild thing. And at the time I was like, well, okay, that's amazing.
He wanted to eat you busy.
You know what? I'm not saying I would say no.
That whole thing.
I'm teasing. I would say no. But you know that the kids, the girls that were with us that were like babies that we had brought with us that were babysitting, who were in their 20s, were like told me later that he really creeped them out in the hot tub. And every time that they got into the hot tub, and then he would like all of a sudden get into the hot tub, and they'd be like, we have to get the fuck out of here. And they would get out, and they were like, yeah, it was like major creepy vibes, man. And I was like, really? You guys have much better spidey sense than I do at this point. But then again, I'm Gen X. I'm like,
Well,
you want to break my rib? Okay.
he has intergenerational wealth, so beware anyone of intergenerational wealth. He like comes from real like Los Angeles money, honey.
No, like
You know what I
actual
mean?
money, I think distorts people's everything. And
Yes.
especially
Yeah.
like that's why I think he had to go to cannibalism for like sexual fantasy,
For
because
thrills.
like yeah,
You need
there's
the
like
hard shit in order to come.
yes, because there's nothing left, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea, guys. Okay, so
How do we get to Jessica St. Clair from here?
I'll do it. Just kidding.
I feel like, listen to what I'm going to say. I feel like Jessica St. Clair would be like, I'm going to need you to stop trying to eat me right now. I need you to get it the fuck together. I don't give a fuck that you're intergenerational wealth or you're a fucking movie star. I'm Jessica St. Clair. Do you know who I am? And Armie Hammer would be like, I don't think I do. And she would be like, well, I'm a fucking badass. Is that a good intro?
That was
Pretty
stunning.
good. And it was pretty good impression of Jessica, who is our dear friend. Busy and I have both known her for a really long time. We love her so much. And yeah, she's just, she's so great. She's so talented.
I
And
like also, wait, Caissie, I forgot. I wanted to send her flowers, but you know what? Can we do it this week? Let's do it this week because it airs.
of course.
Ugh, now we have to send Ryan flowers.
I know. I'm like, I'm listening. I'm right fucking here.
And like maybe every other person that's ever done the podcast and is listening.
Jesus.
Yeah, don't
Well,
start this
here's what I'm
precedent.
gonna say. I want to send Jessica flowers because she made it so easy for us to just like, we didn't have to do much.
We
And-
didn't she took control.
But also,
That's so good.
I like have a real fucking soul connection with Jessica St. Clair. And oh shit. Here's what I forgot to mention when we were doing the interview. So Ryan, Jessica was like, oh, we met at some point to me. And I was like, no, bitch. We met because we tested against each other for a part and you got it. And she was like, oh no. And then I got fired from it. And I was like, what? I didn't know that part of it. But so that like went on a tangent. But the other thing that I forgot is that the other time she and I were like up for a role, whatever, was that I had been offered a part in this movie. It's like a big deal.
Okay.
But I was like 3 months pregnant. 3 or 4 months pregnant. I wore like a real swing dress to my audition. I thought I was hiding it. I was not hiding it. I was already very much showing that I had a giant child inside of my womb. Anyway, they were like, we heard a rumor that Busy is pregnant. And my agents were like, what do we do? And I was like, I guess you should probably tell them because I'll be like very, very pregnant when we're filming the movie. So they told them, And then this is like such a weird thing, but there had been this other movie that Katherine Hahn was pregnant on with Reese Witherspoon, like a baseball movie recent, like that era. And Katherine Hahn like had an emergency and then like had to like basically like couldn't finish her part of the movie with because of the pregnancy. And so then all these insurance companies that insure films were being very strict about pregnant women unless they were like the stars of the movie. They were like, no, we're not going to fuck with that shit. Like just find some other character actress. And so they basically were like, yeah, we're not going to fuck. The insurance company won't insure her. Like, we're not going to fuck with that. So I lost the part. And then they hired Jessica and made her pregnant in the movie.
Oh my God.
What?
The character was not pregnant initially in the fucking movie. And then they like cast me. Then I couldn't get insured. And they let me go. And then cast Jessica and then made her character pregnant in the film. Anyway,
You were a muse. You were a muse for them.
it's not the first time, won't be the last. Anyway, my friend, my love, our light, Jessica St. Clair. Hello Fresh, Hello Fresh, Hello Fresh. Okay, how does that one rank in this week's?
That was good. It was simple.
It's okay. It's okay. Do you know what HelloFresh is?
Yeah, it's delicious is what it is.
Oh, Caissie. It seems like you like a HelloFresh moment.
I really love HelloFresh. It's pre-measured ingredients, mouth-watering, seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. So you don't have to go to the grocery store and you can count on HelloFresh to make your home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And it's America's #1 meal kit, and it deserves to be.
It does deserve to be because it cuts out the stressful meal planning and grocery store trips that drive me crazy, especially because now I live in a city where going to the grocery store is almost impossible. And so we can just enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less because literally we're like, turn to each other and we're like, oh shit, dinner.
Right.
I'm starving already.
Right.
You know, quick breakfasts and lunches. It's perfect for your busy schedule. And there's 25 or more recipes to choose from each week, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers and extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with all recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. And I think I have had both deliciousness and simplicity when I have used HelloFresh.
It's
So
true.
it's true.
Here's a fun fact. HelloFresh has been named Newsweek's most trusted meal kit company of 2021 with over 4 million households served. And you know that I'm like very, very value conscious. HelloFresh is 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store and 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal without sacrificing the quality.
Whoa. Okay, guys, we have the craziest offer for you. Go to HelloFresh.com/12best and use code 12best for 12 free meals, including free shipping. What? That is free to you. So go to HelloFresh.com/12best and use code 12best for 12 free meals, including free shipping.
That's amazing.
You guys, it's America's #1 meal kit. What are you waiting for? I don't love the way that I said that, but I'm just saying I sounded like I was like a wrestling guy,
You got
know?
excited. It's exciting.
I am getting excited. I am. Guys, also tag your meal creation at #HelloFreshPics because, HelloFresh might see you and repost you, and then who knows what might happen. Helix sleep. Helix lets me sleep. I don't want to think about all the things that keep me from sleeping. Oh, someone's phone went off. Anyway, listen, guys, here's what I'm going to say. Helix makes the best mattresses, period. Period. I've recommended them to so many people, and not a one of those people have ever come back and said, why'd you recommend that mattress to me? They've all come back and said, thank you for recommending that mattress to me. I love it. That's right. And you will too. I promise you that. Sleep is very important. I don't need to tell you that.
No,
we're all chasing that dragon, guys.
Yeah.
We all want to sleep. And here's what Helix Sleep does. It has a quiz. It takes 2 minutes to complete. It matches your body and type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. And then you're like, boom, here it is. And then you order it. And then it comes to you. And it is perfect.
Everybody wants the perfect mattress for them.
You know what else I want? You know, I want pillows. I want perfect pillows too.
Yes.
And guess what? Helix is like, I got you. If you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress that you're matched to. The mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. What is a mattress store? I don't know her. I've never even seen her in my life. Helix is awesome. You don't have to take our word for it. Helix was awarded #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired Magazine. I know you guys are revamping your houses and you're moving apartments because you're like, pandemic vibes. I got to get the fuck out of here. I got to change some shit up. You're getting yourself a Helix mattress, and that is that. Just go to helixsleep.com/best. Take the 2-minute sleep quiz. They're going to match you to a customized mattress that's going to give you the best sleep of your life, you guys. I promise you.
Whether side sleeper.
What? Side, stomach, back. No one's a back sleeper. Come on. Are you fucking vampire?
If you move around all night, if you're plus size, if you're a hot sleeper, nobody's a cool sleeper, I don't think. It's the same as no back sleepers and no cool sleepers exist. But all
Guys,
those other things.
We pretend that they do, but let's be real. Everyone's hot and everyone's side. Okay. Hot and side sleepers. That's it. Well, maybe there are some back. Maybe there are some cold sleepers. I don't know. Anyway, they have a 10-year warranty and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. And guess what? They're even going to pick it up for you if you don't love it. But that's not going to happen because you're going to love it.
I really love mine.
I love mine too.
I wouldn't let them take it from me if they tried.
Not even a joke. I'm about to order 2 more Helix mattresses.
Are you building a house out of Helix mattresses?
Building a house out of mattresses, Caissie. I'm so glad you asked me that. No, but the house that we're in right now is a rental and the mattresses came with the house.
And they're not Helix mattresses.
A couple of them, well, one of them is a Helix mattress, the one I sleep on, and I effing love it. But other mattresses in other people's rooms are not Helix mattresses, and they're about to be because I'm getting them. And here's what I'm going to take. I'm going to take advantage of my own offer that I'm offering to you. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/best. You guys, go get yourself some sleep. Guys, we're just so lucky. We're so lucky that Jessica St. Clair is joining us today. Listen, I have to say, we both, Caissie and I, both know you for a long fucking time.
A long time.
In very different ways.
Yes.
And so guys.
And I'm equally obsessed. Well, I don't know if you're obsessed with me, but I'm obsessed with both of you. And I think I've said that to you guys. And Busy, even I know that we're from afar, but I have written you some very emotional emails that but from just seeing you in the hair salon, I would be like, at 2 a.m., like, I just want to let you know.
You're killing
you've done.
Yeah, I know.
Little girls everywhere. Dude, I was like just so emotionally involved in that whole process.
That was,
and I'm so proud of you guys.
That letter meant more to me. Oh no, I'm very emotional today, so I am going to cry already. Please. I'm hiding self-view in case I make an ugly face. But yeah. That letter honestly meant more to me than than you could even possibly imagine. Jessica wrote me like just the kindest, sweetest, most lovely letter about Busy Tonight. And I shared it with Caissie. And it meant so much to me. And
I meant
because
it.
I just like have always loved seeing you. I even didn't mind losing jobs to you. When that
no jobs to me, my friend.
You're out of your fucking mind. You don't remember how we met?
No.
You don't remember? We tested against each other.
For what?
IT Crowd.
Which, by the way,
the pilot of IT Crowd. A million
crazy.
Fucking years ago.
Wait, but that was the second time I was fired by the same people.
And then that ties into how I know Jessica and why I want to say that, Jess, I consider you my sliding
Frankenstein?
my sliding doors friend. You know what I mean? Like, I always think of like if our lives had been like 2 degrees different, what could have been. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
right.
What if I had like packed up and gone to Los Angeles with Jess?
With me.
Or like, what if I had like convinced her to stay in New York with me? Like, what would have been different? But it wasn't that way. Like, our lives were the way they were, and I had to let you go when I let you go. But this is how good of a friend Jess is that I was so happy for you when you were cast in IT Crowd, and I was like,
against me.
Busy. She smoked Busy and got
Guys, I only remember it as the job I was fired from by the same dudes who fired me the pilot season before. It's an outrageous story.
It's an outrageous. We need to talk about it.
She smoked Busy and got cast in the IT Crowd, and I was so happy for her, and I was like, I'm gonna lose her. We were working together on this show, Best Week Ever, and I was like, I'm only gonna get to do so many things with her before she goes. And so I wrote this big sketch that we were going to shoot for Best Week Ever, and I convinced them to like give us some money. We're going to like spend some money on this sketch, and I convinced them to like let us use the whole office to shoot this thing starring Jess. And she comes in and she looks a little like not okay. And she's like,
was that the day?
Yeah. And she's like, what's happening? Like, what are we doing? Like, she's just all pro. Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I wrote this really funny sketch. It's about like how you're getting fired from Best Week Ever. No. And you're like,
remember this. I blocked this out.
And
oh
you
my
were
God,
like,
it's all coming back.
Okay. All right. And then I was like, you look not okay. And you were like, it's just that I got fired from IT Crowd. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. And you were like, nope, let's take like a walk around. Let's take a loop around the office. I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to get it together.
Oh my God, Caissie, this is all coming back to me. Like, I have hot sweats remembering this, because I was like, not that anyone noticed, but I'm like, they're going to announce that I got fired. And then I'm also going to do a sketch that I got fired. Now, if they had done that to me now, I'd have been like, oh, let's make it about me getting fired from the job.
Of course.
I don't give a fuck.
But you were such a pro. You were such a pro. You were like, let's just do this. And you were like, you did it for me. I love you too. And you just like, yeah, it just was. You and I had a few moments like that. We were just like, you were like, this is what a friend does. She fucking does a sketch about getting fired when she's sick to her stomach about getting fired.
And when I went on Watch What Happens Live, and then I will stop talking. But when I went on Watch What Happens Live, and I never had watched any of the Housewives, I was having a full-on nervous breakdown because what could I do? What jokes could I make? And I don't know how I got even on it. And Caissie shows up and I'm like, oh my God, write me 5 jokes. And I had them written down in my hand.
Oh my God, that's genius.
It was horrible. I was the worst guest they'd ever had. I was like,
Jessica, do you know I also never watched The Housewives, but crammed the night before my first appearance.
You have to cram.
I crammed and then like pretended like I was a big fan and had watched the show.
And
I
people
was just
bought
like,
it, right? I would
Caissie,
buy you as a
said
watcher.
that Andy did buy it from me.
I think so. I mean, I bought it. I thought that you
it.
were like a big Housewives
See, you're
fan.
an A student. This is why we all 3 love each other. We are A+ students.
Yeah.
We're like, we will do the work. I will do the underlining, the highlighting. Do you know what I mean? I'll copy over the notes.
Yeah,
but that's
I put in the hours.
But that's why when dumb fucks end up firing us for something or canceling something good, I want to burn their houses down.
I know. I want to burn
like,
it to the
shit,
ground.
I know my stuff is good, okay? I know my stuff is good.
The other thing, too, is just that we know that the men's stuff is just fine.
It's just
and they just get to
fine.
keep doing it. Yeah,
Because
and
it's always been done.
Yeah. And it's like, well, wait, why can't we just be mediocre? We can't. We cannot. We won't. But
We wouldn't, but it would be nice to have an option.
Ugh.
You know, we had Brooklyn Decker on, who you guys.
I know. I didn't get to.
haven't had
Okay,
her
so
on.
wait, Jess is here because she and June Diane Raphael started a new podcast called Deep Dive together.
It's so good.
It's great,
So
and
sweet. We have
there's
them both
something
on.
in the first episode that I need to circle back.
Yes.
and talk
Yes.
about here on this podcast, guys. This is Busy Phillips is doing her best in case you don't know what you're listening to right now. You know, sometimes I know it gets dicey. You're going to love this podcast. You definitely want to get in on the subscribe and download button. If you don't know how to do that, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. But what? Okay, so the podcast, it's only 4 episodes so far, right?
4 episodes. So the thing I wanted to talk about Brooklyn is that she, you know, is this, not only this incredibly phenomenally gorgeous woman, but she is an entrepreneur and she had this fashion site and then sold it. But anyway, she had to raise money for it. And we were talking about how you dress when you go into these pitch meetings. And she said that, you know, because they're so into fashion, she and her partner's even more on the wild side, would come in like looking fucking awesome, but unique. And they were not getting any money. And finally, they got on the phone with a female, whatever the people are that give the money to
Venture
people.
capitalist.
Like a venture
Capitalist. And she said, what are
VC.
you wearing? What are you wearing? And they said, you know, she said, go in black and white, wear black and white. These men only can put money towards what they know. And if you come in and you're looking like nothing that they've known, they're afraid.
Ever seen, right? Yeah.
They change their outfits, they get the money.
Holy
But
shit.
they have to fit themselves into a mold. Just like, who was it? Who is the feminist that said when women have to change themselves to fit into a male world, it makes them sick, physically sick? I have to Google this. I don't know who told me that, but I remember it stuck with me because when you try to do it a man's way. Now, in that case, she should have put on the blazer because it got her the money. But I feel like in artistically, if you try to do it a man's way, whether that's shooting man hours, like 16-hour days, or, you know, going, we got to stay in the writer's room till 2 a.m. But you can't. You're
like
a mother.
also-
you have
But
to
also
go
you
home.
don't need, but also we all know you don't need to. And we
And if
all
you
know that
do-
all the comedy writer men are just trying to avoid their unhappy lives at home. Okay. So guys, that's the fucking secret
We
of the 4
know.
a.m. writers.
Find a very
Okay.
happy woman to run your room because they will want to get home to their family or man.
Oh, yeah.
Or man, I will
Or
say
man,
that. I
yeah.
will say,
Or man.
or find a dude who's like satisfied with his life and is like and understands that things only are good and get good when everybody is happy and refreshed, and not when they're like,
That's right.
you know, in a room looking at the same 5 faces eating fucking Panera
Horrible
bread
food.
again.
That's so. That is such
guys.
an
Panera bread
interesting-
is not sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah,
but
just so you know.
But if
Again,
they want
we-
to,
if
that's
they want
fine.
take
to,
it.
we
We would take
love.
it.
Yeah, we love Panera.
Oh, wait, we
love
did pitch
any-
Panera bread though, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. Jess, that is so interesting that you mentioned that. I was
interesting.
just telling Busy that when we did like a round of meetings when Busy Tonight was canceled, almost every place we went was like, what is your comedians in cars getting coffee? And we kept being like, what are you talking about? And they were like, what is your like your car? And we were like, that's like just a location. Like, what
It's
are you
just a
talking
thing.
about? And like, I was like, is it like an economical thing? Are you just looking to like not rent a studio? Like Busy in a bucket. Like she can stand in a bucket. That's free, you know? And yeah, everybody was like, what's your comedian? And I was like, is it because like that's a successful thing and it's fun to watch Jerry Seinfeld in a car? You know, I was like, it's not really about the car. It's about Jerry, you know? Like that's why it's successful. It's not about.
And you know what? I don't want to be shot as a woman from the side. I don't want to be shot up here. And I'd like full light coming at me here.
For sure.
I want to be in a studio environment. I don't need.
Even that idea of just like wardrobe of like what, when we did the talk show, that like what I was going to wear was how my hair was.
Really?
My
Was a
nails.
huge.
It was a discussion.
It was a discussion.
With
And I was like,
who was weighing in? What?
Well,
Tell me what to put on my hair.
Well, that was what I said. I mean, the touching my hair thing was like the worst. I was like, do you know how much Conan O'Brien touched his hair in the first 5 years of his show? It was like,
wait, you weren't supposed to touch your hair?
It was a note from one of the female executives that I was touching my hair too much.
I'm gonna burn this fucking computer
Burn it to the
down.
ground. Also, Jessica, that when I ran out at the top, it was scary. It's scary to this woman. And I was like, I mean, the fact that she's scared, I mean, like the fact that me running out with excitement at the top of the show was scary. That's why I started doing this like bit where I would like slowly pretend like I was in slow motion. Oh, I'm such an asshole, you know, like you tell me not to touch my hair and I like spend the entire time twirling it and like making a mustache out of it. And then, it was just like my every part of my being railed against every misogynistic note that we got. The nails question, when that one executive, I think it was the same executive every time, when she was like, I'm concerned, I'm worried about your nails, that they're going to change. Are people going to be, I was like, honey, I literally was like, honey, if people are noticing my nails, we have issues. We have bigger issues.
Yeah.
And also,
like we have some problems.
And also, by the way, the people who love you and who are here for your nail content. We are here for you changing your nails. That's the thing. It's like, don't change my shit. Lean in. I want to lean into what makes us touch our hair. Because I will tell you that my best friend Molly from college, she does this really weird thing with her hair when she's nervous, where she goes like that, like against her hair. Yes. I sat across from her for so many years that I started to do it. It's comforting to me to do her hair thing.
Jess,
because apparently,
I do that as well.
Do you? Because monkeys mirror each other.
Yeah, you make a paintbrush out of your hair and you like brush your face.
I have to do this and I have to feel it and I have to feel the smoothness. And so, like, to me, you touching your hair means we're in a girlfriend talk. That's what 100%. You do.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
But this is a woman who's like existed in a time where she, I believe, came up in a world where she was trying to mask her own femaleness, right? And she was trying to like just become a part of the boys club. Like, and it was a point of pride, right? In television, like for TV and film executives who are women and producers and stuff, like, oh, I'm in the boys club now. And it's like, well, okay, why don't we just make another club and it's the girls club? And why don't we do that?
And it's the girls club.
And that's what I fucking love about you, Jessica St. Clair, so much, is that you and Lennon
so much.
and June and Caissie and Kulop, like you guys really have done that. You really have built this girls club in Hollywood where you guys make stuff that you want to watch, that you want to see for yourselves, for each other. And it's like never ceases to impress me.
Oh, I feel the same about you guys. We have to join forces. And
that would be
I
ideal.
do think I wonder, it's really funny because it's like, obviously we're of a certain age. And by that, I mean 22. But I think like, yeah, right. But like, even that, it's like, I remember trying to fit myself in and into a mold of this was a shows written by men. And the characters of the women were usually not given any jokes per se.
Right. Nothing. Ever.
Nothing.
And then you go
Nothing
in to test and they're like waiting for the laughs. And you're like, I'm going to try to turn this as hard as I can, baby. But there ain't nothing here.
There ain't nothing here.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's one thing if you're doing like a genius show like Freaks and Geeks where you're allowed to live in your serious moments and your comedic, but it's all based on real things and real human emotion. But when you're talking about a sitcom, like a multi-camera sitcom, and you don't have a joke, like that's some real tough stuff. But I remember getting the note on when I got fired the first time that I had been pushing it. Okay. That I had been pushing it during the taping, which I was like, okay, that haunted me, right? Every time you get a bad note, you get haunted as an actress, except for now, which I don't care. But before I cared about my career, I would really be haunted by it. And I realized I was pushing because there was no joke, but I was like trying as a performer to get a laugh.
To perform,
To perform. But
of course.
Yeah. So when I look at that stuff I did, I was like, oh, you're right. There is an anxiety there. But that wasn't, what else was I going to do? Do nothing.
That's been my relationship with you because when we worked together at Best Week Ever, the show was kind of in a place where I think they were like looking to cut back on the budget. The show, if you're not familiar, is a bunch of comedians and they come in and they say jokes about like pop culture things. And so like when I joined the show, it was in progress. And I'm sure like every show goes through this thing where like, they're like, okay, we're going to like cut back on some people. And so they're looking at people like, well, this person's like not making it on the show a lot. And they're really like, it's based on like a chart, like who got on the show the most.
Wow.
And, there's really people that are like, and that's the way that like late night used to work too. Like which writers are getting like the most jokes on the show, which ones are, and, sometimes like a really talented writer only got like one joke on a show in a cycle. And, that's it. They're cut.
That's it for them.
So I just remember like people looking back at shows and being like, these people aren't making it on this show so much. And like, I had the luxury of being like a little bit older and being like a little bit ballsier and being like, is anyone telling these people who kind of aren't making it on the show a lot what we need, what we're looking for?
Well, that's right. You would go in with Caissie and of course she would have all the best jokes written. So then I would request only to be with Caissie. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I can't do it any other times except for when is Caissie going to be there? Because I'm not a good joke writer per se. And Caissie, of course, as you know, is like she's the most talented. The fact that she worked for Joan Rivers, it's like, of course she did. Yes. She is truly one of the best writers in the world.
Agreed.
And then also she comes at it with such a uniquely female view. But the other thing, Caissie, is that you're a mother. And you were the first person I knew who had 2 kids and they were in Connecticut. And I was like, why is this bitch so happy? I literally was like, this one seems to be ready to hot-foot it out to Connecticut. What happens in Connecticut? And then I realized, your happy family happens in Connecticut.
Yeah. And that you can sort of do both. Yeah. But I was just like, it's nuts. Like, let's just tell people what we need and like get it, bang, bang, bang. And then like everybody can be on the show and it can be great and we can get done what we need to. So that was always like, so I always used to worry because I was like, I wonder if this woman like realizes like how laser focused I am on her. But I just was really like obsessed with like working with you and like, let me try to figure out her voice and write stuff for her because she's so funny.
And that $500 a week was the difference between me legitimately buying my Caissie sandwiches or not.
I mean,
and Busy, I know this is, everyone probably says this, but your content on Instagram, I live for. Because you are so authentic to yourself.
And I mean, at this point, who knows? You know what I mean? I don't even know what it is.
But the fact that, like, I remember laying on my couch and having fucking day of it. And I whatever reason, that day you had taken a picture of yourself having cried for a bunch of hours. And I was like, thank God, I'm not the only person crying right now. And I just feel like that connects us as it's such a gift when somebody shares. And then also shares like a great picture of them with sunlight behind them and a lip and a gigantic sunglass. Like I just want to see that too.
Well, we contain multitudes, and unfortunately the characters that are written for us as women mostly don't.
That's right.
And so, you know what I mean? Right? And so I do think also social media, like if you think about all the things that we're so sort of used to seeing through a male gaze, I do think that's why some women, in the onset of social media, were like, oh, this is just for me to like look hot and show my tits and like look perfect and like my perfect home and my perfect lunches for my perfect children and all that shit.
That's right.
And
I follow those people too, just to make myself feel bad.
Well, does it make you feel bad? Seriously.
You know what? It doesn't, only because I know it's just curated, but also, well, I will tell you this. After I got the big C, and I'm not going to be a bummer about cancer because I'm literally like, I talk about it all the time, but I realized I couldn't have a second child, even though I didn't really want one. But if I didn't, and in fact,
I guess told you couldn't.
But I didn't want to be told I couldn't, and also everybody has to, and so I felt that I had done something wrong to my daughter, who, Caissie, I'm sure you have viewed some of BB's. She is like her own. She doesn't need a second. And in fact, when I ask her, because I'll ask her secretly like a freak, like, you want one? Because I'll get one. Like, if you say you need it, I'll fucking get it. I'll go get a baby. And she's like, no babies in this house. Like, they're going to fucking drool on my shit and I don't want it. But so there was a time when I had to go and basically mute anybody who had 2 children. And that is most of my friends, just for a minute.
Right.
Because seeing it was like and then I found a way somehow, and I think it was my dead best friend who sort of lifted it off me. But I remember going on this random last minute trip to Mallorca. Like we were in London shooting this show, and I spent every last cent, and we rolled into this like hotel I'd seen in like, Travel and Leisure, like number 1, whatever we couldn't afford. And I had gotten the smallest room, and they were horrified I brought a child. And I was like, oh no, she'll sleep on the floor. I don't care. And I was like, oh, we couldn't have done that if, so many things you can do. And our family is complete. So now I unmuted all those people.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, listen, I also didn't think I was going to have another child. And
oh, really?
Oh yeah. I just thought that was it. It was just really hard. Like it was just hard. Yeah. It's hard to work. It's hard to do things. And then I was on that show and on Cougar Town, and then Birdie did ask. Birdie kept asking and said,
because they know if it's coming, if a baby soul is coming, they're like, where is it? TikTok.
Yeah. And and Mark was emphatically anti the second.
Interesting.
Yeah. And by the way, like so many times in the past almost 8 years has Mark been like, I'm so glad I just like do whatever you tell me.
You say yes.
Because like I'm just
if only they
glad.
could get on board for that. Just fucking know that we see the future. Yeah. You are focused on the mastodon at hand that you need to spear. I am thinking future. I'm thinking where we got to go to hunt and gather later.
Correct.
There you go. That's exactly
and I knew,
right.
And I am grateful, but also like that cricket is obviously I'm super grateful. The cricket's in our lives, but also I could have seen just having one.
Interesting.
Poor cricket.
No. Like I would, cricket's like my
of course.
The light of our lives, but like also,
could have gone
one
the other
kid
way.
is great. I'm mostly friends with only children.
Interesting.
Really?
All my best friend
Lennon is an only. My best friend is an only, and I watch her take care of her, such as exquisite care of herself. Like you'll be in hanging out with Lennon, and she'll be like, I need a nap. Goodbye. And you're like, wait, what? And then she's like just taking a little cat nap because she takes care of herself. She doesn't feel the need to always perform, she accepts love in a way that's like so beautiful and wonderful. And I think it is because she never had to fight for it.
Her family must have been pretty healthy.
She had a good family.
Yeah,
that's right.
She was an only child with a good family.
That might have been it.
I actually, my one of my best friends who I just saw from high school, Kate, who's an only child, is like that as well. She's very good at self-care in a real way, not just like a bullshit bubble bath way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's just really like in tune with like, you know what? I don't think I need that. Or you know what? That sounds great. I can do that. I don't even fucking know what I'm ordering in restaurants 90% of the time.
I'm like, what do you think I should get? What do you think? No.
Yes. No.
I used to work with this woman who is an only child, and she was like an only child to the most nth degree. And one time she literally took someone's bagel out of the toaster. Like someone had toasted a bagel and they were like, where did my bagel go? And she was like, just walked by eating it. And she was like, it was there. And they were like,
Crunch?
Bitch, I toasted that bagel for myself. And she was like, I just saw it and took it.
Just assumed
toast another one. Guess what? I'd rather be the woman crunching on someone else's bagel than the woman going like, I guess I'll make another one. Who do you want to be?
I am definitely making another bagel. I just know that. I know that.
I'm going out and buying the bagels. I'm like, does anybody want more bagels? Would that make you like me more?
Me too. Me too. Okay, so wait, two things. First of all, we talk about pivots on our show. You have had a few.
Yes, I've had a few. Yes, I can think of two major ones. The one that I'm speaking about with the two firings.
Right.
I had to say, if I don't write my own stuff, I'm going to get fired again. That's really was my inspiration, is that I can't fire myself.
So you had done a pilot, got fired off of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the next year, the same fucking dudes hired you.
That's right.
Fuck those IT guys, by the way.
and then fired you?
And they fired me again. First of all, you know what? I know now so much goes into the decision of who gets replaced on something. It's very rarely the showrunners. They are trying to save their show, and who knows who knows who decided it. In both cases, there was something wrong with the show. And that was back in the day where if there was something wrong, we should get a new woman. So if it's a
100%.
blonde, get a brunette, but never change the men, never, ever change the men. And sometimes I think in the case of the IT crowd, I was fired, but then they never picked the show up.
Right.
So
they didn't.
That was very strange. But at that point, didn't have kids, didn't have a real full life. I was, the work was everything. And I got fired. And I remember just being like, okay, Hollywood is telling me like, no, thank you. They don't want me. But I was like, I don't know about that. Then I was like, well, I really want to tell my own story. I don't know if anybody wants it. But I know this is the only way that I can protect myself, so that at least if I'm not funny, it's because I wrote it, not somebody else. And that's what motivated me.
And you and Lennon were together at UCB?
Well, no, at first it was Jason Mantzoukas and I. And so we were college friends.
College boyfriend?
No,
right?
no. We wrote a show called We Used to Go Out. Everyone thought we were dating. When we would go out to pitch, they would all assume, why would a man work with another woman unless he was boning her? We would use our real names too. And I was like, I'd never do that again either, because I will tell you, on Best Friends Forever, my first show with Lennon, we thought it was fun to use our own names. I guess it was like Curb Your Enthusiasm was doing it.
Right.
And I saw a deck, like a professional deck, that said that my character was unlikable, the character of Jessica.
Oh no!
The character of Jessica St. Clair was unlikable.
Yes, and there was like a red penis, like high penis that said unlikable was at the top and likable was at the bottom, and I was the highest. And Lennon tried to stop me. I don't know why I found it, but she was like, "Get it away from her," and I was like, "I've already committed it to memory." But what had happened was in Best Friends Forever, the first like 30 seconds in the cold open, my character is delivered divorce papers via FedEx during a call with a FaceTime with Lennon. And I start sobbing And I wanted to sob the way women do, where it's like you almost think they're going to throw up. And I guess the sound of a woman crying made all the people in Las Vegas who were testing it turn the dial all the way to dislike.
Unlikable.
They disliked the sound of women in pain. And then, God bless, the president of NBC at the time said, why don't you guys just cut out your crying as much as you can? And let's see what happens. And the dials went all the way back up.
Shut the fuck up.
But for about a month, I was like, I'm the most unlikable person in the world.
Oh
Wait,
my
I wonder.
God.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if you had just put music. If it had just been like cut the sound out and just done music and just seen you cry.
100, the sound, you know how it is when your husband hears a baby cry, like their own
Yes.
baby, you almost see the look in their eyes like they're going to run out of the house and you'll never see them again. Like it's hurt them. It's physically hurting them. And you're like, and kind of like, I'm like, I remember when BB was getting out of her bed and I had to 50 times bring her back into the bed and she was like destroying the room in a dramatic way at 2 a.m. And I was like unfazed by it. I'm like, get back in the bed. Like
I'm the opposite. I was.
Do you go crazy?
Oh yeah. I lost my. I couldn't deal with that.
You can't hear the crying.
Thing. Well, the crying and the sleeping thing. I can't hear it.
Oh, yeah.
It itches my brain. It itches.
I understand. I never did the sleep training.
Me neither.
Until the last possible minute where it was like, I think she cried for 3 minutes and fell asleep forever.
Oh,
but
wow.
I think it goes to a deep, like childhood, like the idea that they could be feeling alone and that their mother's not coming. Like I simply cannot, I can't stand for it.
Yeah. Although I will say after having my older kid who legit did not sleep through the night until age 10.
Oh my God.
10 or 11.
Would
11,
wake
maybe.
up and you would have to what?
Multiple
crawl in
times a
that
night.
bed?
Multiple times a night.
Are you
No, at a
kidding
certain
me?
point, at a certain point, Jessica, I had to say, like, I cannot do this because I have like a real sleep thing. And if I get woken up, if I can like go wild. Like I can like rage and get nuts. And so Mark took on that responsibility. But so then I had Cricket, but they, like I said, they were far enough apart that I knew. And I sleep trained that baby. I was like, how young do you do it? When do you let them cry?
And then was she a good sleeper ever since that?
Best.
They have to be taught. They have to be taught.
We did the sleep training with my older son and he cried and cried and cried and never fell asleep, climbed out of his crib and then climbed out of his bed when we eventually switched him to a bed and then just started to get a lawn chair and sit in the hallway and read books all night until
Are you kidding me?
eventually he just started to sleep when he was like 12.
A lawn chair.
It's the same thing. We have the same kid. kid. Birdie is exactly like that. Birdie's like, you cannot make the child do anything, sleep. Like there is no consequence that means anything to this kid. You take it all away. Okay.
He sleeps now though.
Take
He's 21. He sleeps fine now.
Well, Birdie sleeps now. Great. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy to me that you have an adult man that you
crazy.
created.
No.
Two of them.
Wild.
2 of them.
21 and 19.
How old were you, Caissie, when you had your first, Caissie?
I was 26.
Oh my God. How? How did you know what you were doing?
Oh, it was an accident. I was like,
I had no idea. That is
I got knocked up. On
somebody
accident
put
by
their penis in me and
I mean, I knew that I wanted to have children and like we were married and our son was born after we were married, but we just didn't plan to have children that soon after we were married. And I thought that I was like, I'm a pretty smart person, but it was a situation where I went to the doctor and I was like, I've been feeling like very tired and I've not been feeling great. And I feel like kind of nauseous in the morning. And she was like, yeah, stupid, you're pregnant. And I was like, oh
my God.
Oh.
Like it
How
didn't
pregnant
occur to
were you when you found out?
Probably like a couple months. Like life was hectic enough that I was like hadn't realized I'd like skipped a period. And then I called my husband because I was so shocked. And I called my husband and I was like, "Can you come meet me?" Because his office was like near my doctor's office. I was like, "Can you come meet me? I'm at the doctor's office." And I'm sure he probably thought like I was going to tell him like terrible news. Yeah. And I was like, "She just told me that I'm pregnant." And he sat down on the sidewalk on Fifth Avenue. He just sat down like
I'm going to take a minute on this.
Yeah, he just was like, oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
But it's like the best part is you're going to be living your best life. Like those kids are going to be out of your house and you're going to be like, ooh, San Miguel Allende. Like, where do I want to go next? Right?
Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, they're grown up. So, you know, but let's get back to you. You said you had another major pivot.
But wait, I want to go back to the first pivot. Back first.
Okay.
I have questions and thoughts and comments and feelings, which is a little bit, I want to say that I do think that being fired is maybe the greatest thing that happened for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. 100%. I realized I could not wait for like, I was waiting for like someone to take me away from it all, like some shiny show to like make my dreams come true. And like, it just was never going to happen that way. And like, what if I had just gotten on some dumbass show and I had all that money that I still don't have? And I have so many things I would buy. You know, that's the thing. I would like to purchase something every 5 minutes if I could.
Well, listen, Jess, I am that person.
You do anyway. You just do anyway.
You just do it anyway. You just do it anyway. But I'm so glad because it forced me to like dig deep and go like, do I have anything to say? You know? And also I so desperately wanted to write shows about women loving each other, being best friends and loving each other. Cause there hadn't been that. If you remember at that time, it was a lot of women hating each other. Yeah. It was like the bitch. Yeah. It was like, you're the bitch or you're the nerd or you're the like normal girl. And it's like, I don't know any woman who fits any of those. And we're all friends.
Friends was like an anomaly on network television in which like women were allowed to support and be nice to one another. And then every other show, like even Will and Grace, like the two women were mean to each other all the time.
That's right.
Like so mean constantly.
Right. That's right.
And and it is interesting. It's really funny. I just did this interview earlier today for Girls 5 Eva and with this girl from AV Club. And she was like, you know, it's when I look back at your career, you've like played characters that maybe at first are supposed to sort of be like Lindsay and Kim or, you know, Audrey on Dawson's Creek, but they always like end up really good friends. And she's like, I wonder if that's you or if that's the way that it always is going to be. And I was like, I don't know. That's really interesting. But I do find it to be a thing that I gravitate toward. And I remembered that on Cougar Town, I loved that they had like real female friendship. And the character played by Krista Miller and my character were always supposed to be sort of like a little bit snarky at each other. But there was one episode, I think in like season 2 or 3, where I felt like it was too mean. And I legit was like crying hysterically in my dressing room. I didn't want to do it. Like I hated it so much. And I was trying to explain to the men on set like why I was so upset about it. And everyone's like, it's funny, it's funny, it's funny. And I was like, it isn't to me. It's mean.
It's mean. And also then you dismantle all of the bond that, because I mean, listen, there are certainly women in your life that you can't stand. But my husband's trying to creep in here. What are you creeping in here? Get out. There are women that you can't stand for sure. But like, you're not friends with them. That's the point. Like if you're friends with someone, it means you love them. And I think that women show up for each other in the most enormous ways. I'm so glad I'm a woman. I know that's so lame, but can you imagine the loneliness that you would feel?
No, I can't.
day
I
is a
literally
man.
can't.
I love what you're saying about how you knew that you wanted to write about women and about women loving each other. And because I saw that in you, that's what I wanted to do. And I think that's why you and I were like
Connected, yes.
Connected. And also like, I knew you were going to kill it at that because here's why. It's the one thing about you. And it's something that you taught me a lot about, is that you were always so fucking honest. You were so honest about like, just, I'm telling you, like, about being like, hey, listen, I have to cry for 5 minutes because I got fired. So, yeah, that's what's happening. And then I'll do this thing that you need me to do. Okay. And I remember you got cast in this movie, and I was so excited to talk to you about being cast in this movie. And I just really, like, based on my experience in show business, I was really expecting you to just like give me like this really glamorous story about like what your day on set was like. And you were like, my scene was in a bathing suit and I got yelled at for sitting down and making a crease on my stomach.
Shut up.
God, I would love to be in a bathing suit. I would love for one person to want me in a bathing suit. No one needs to see that anymore. By the way, though, I got to say about Girls 5 Ever, I just started watching because Lennon was like, Jessica, I know you're going to bed at 7:30 these days and you really should get your thyroid checked out. But do try to keep yourself up. And that fucking show, Busy, you, again, your character is a ridiculous person. You are a ridiculous human, but you're like a golden retriever. I love her so much. She cares so much.
Just wait until you get to like some of the later episodes with Andrew Rannells. I don't know how far in you are.
Shit. No, I just finished the first one halfway to the second.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always like, I don't know. I guess sadness is the thing that always drives me, right? Like like every character that I've ever played, I'm like, they're deeply, deeply sad. Deeply sad. It's true.
It's funny because though your energy, you are a real light. I really feel like on screen, you are a bubbly light. And you're deeply sad. God, aren't we all?
Wait, this is what I wanted to talk to you. Okay, so we got through the pivot a little bit, but we can do the other one. But so I want to talk to you about your podcast. Because yesterday was I was shaking like a zebra and I was crying. I could not stop crying yesterday. I cried. We did our podcast and I kind of started to cry on the pod, but I kind of held it together. And but then after that, I was a fucking mess and cried the entire rest of the day into the night, got up and went into my closet and cried for like an hour in the middle of the night.
I'm so glad to hear this.
Sobbing. And so, Jessica, I want you to tell people, they're going to listen to your show. Deep dive.
Deep dive. Caissie, we're on Ann Geddes Babies.
Yes.
Ann Geddes put us on Babies.
Yeah. It's the coolest thing that's ever happened.
That's a signed Geddes print.
I'm jealous.
I know. And she's a phenomenal woman. Her story is great too. We should have
Ann Geddes on our show.
Oh, you should. She's phenomenal. Her career is anyway, but who cares? I
Jessica
care.
talks in the first episode of their podcast, talks about a thing that you learned after you did have cancer and you survived it, and how it relates to sort of like collectively what we're all going through in this moment. A lot of us, I think, especially if you're a more sensitive person.
Yeah.
And some people just feel things. That's just true. Some people just feel things and some people are
deeper.
Like, I mean, I'm okay. I guess I could get like frozen yogurt. Are you good? You know what I mean? I don't know. COVID's over. Let's just like go get some stuff. So explain what the shaking zebra is.
Well, So I didn't know the shaking zebra was happening to me. So I'll explain it. So I read this book, and this is post my kind of breakdown that I had after cancer. This book is called Burnout, and I recommend everybody to read it because it blew my mind. Basically, this woman studied her twin sister had basically a nervous breakdown, physical breakdown from stress, and so she basically after that went back into study how the body processes stress. And basically, if a zebra is being chased by a lion and it gets away, once it gets away and it's no longer in danger, it violently shakes and has like what looks like a seizure. And what that is its body releasing the cortisol, and it's completing the stress cycle. Or the cortisol would stay in its body and it would do harmful things to its body. So as humans, we have that same need. Things that release the stress, complete the stress cycle, are crying. And that's why I said, like, that's so good you were crying. And you let yourself cry because your body needed whatever that stress was that was caused you to be filled with all that cortisol and those hormones. It needed to let it out. And when we stop ourselves from crying, it's bad, and it becomes, and you can get sick. I mean, sadly, it seems like kind of LA shit, but it's not. It's for reals, right? So basically, but what happened with me is I got cancer. Then I got through it was terrible, but I'm fine. But it was also awful. I had a 2.5-year-old. I had a double mastectomy, chemo. I had to hide it from her. So like I would go to chemo and then come home like, mommy's home from work. And like, I had to be on a red carpet promoting Playing House, which then like got canceled and then reborn, but during chemo. Oh. And I remember hugging the president of USA. And I think he was like probably minutes away from canceling us. And Lennon goes, "A chunk of your hair is on that man's shoulder."
No.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
What? She's like, "I couldn't get it. So there it is." And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
But anyway, then
and your husband
done,
also had cancer. This is like a thing that if people don't know the full story.
Because I hid it. Because I didn't want people to think I was like the biggest freak on the planet. But the day of my last chemo, I'm sitting in the chemo chair with like a very sad like graduation cap on, like on top of my cold cap that was used to like keep my hair. And my husband texted me and he had cancer. And I was like, oh my God. So I went right from there, literally unhooked me. I went into taking care of him. That motherfucker, if you believe in anything, he was meant to stay alive because he, for the love of BB, I promise you, my daughter, he was like, oh no, you haven't seen this kind of Irish bullshit. I'm going to destroy this. And he did. You have to go to the best doctor, though. I always tell people, you know how you can ask 3 times and get a better room at a hotel, which I do every time? Yeah. You just demand it. They have it for you. They're going to put you facing the garden, but you can get oceanside. You got to keep asking. Same with, there's always a better doctor. Just keep going till you get to the number one. The quality of your doctors is going to depend on whether or not you survive. And I don't think people know, and especially women I don't feel like we're comfortable advocating for ourselves or being rude or firing somebody. I've fired so many doctors at this point. I was living in a Shonda Rhimes, drama. TV show. I'd be like, take your hands off my husband.
So Dan really benefited from your experience having gone through cancer, probably.
So. Yeah. I think so. But also he like, the day he got diagnosed, from then on, not a drop of sugar, alcohol. He runs an hour and a half a day. Like we went to the heads of every hospital in Los Angeles to the point where a man in an eye patch who's like in charge of oncology at USC, he has like a legitimate eye patch. He's German too. He's like, how'd you get my number, my cell phone? And I was like, bitch, you're never going to know, but I'm keeping it.
This is who I am.
I'm like, go ahead, change your number. I'll get the new one. Okay. But we were like, how does one survive after this? What are the things that now, mind you, what are the things he can do? Because I'm like chocolate all day, all night. I should not be eating that. But they were basically like, all the things that you read are true. It's just that we don't tell people this because Americans won't do it. But it's like Mediterranean diet, cardio every day, no sugar, no alcohol. Like that is going to really like by 50% change your.
I know, but then I read the things about like the lady who drank her whiskey every night and she was 115. And I'm like, I'm that lady.
I know. And you know what? So much of it is genetics, truly.
It's genetic.
It
But
is. It's the same thing when people talk to me about my skin and they're like, your skin, you have such good skin. What do you do? And I'm like, honestly, Barbara Phillips gave birth to me. And Barbara
and she has great skin.
Like
same with you, Caissie. Your mother must have great skin.
Caissie's skin is insane. But
I know, but
like,
she's kept it out of the sun.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. I don't keep it out of the
sun.
sun. I don't keep out of the sun.
Yeah. I mean, you two are like, and I don't like to throw around the word inspirational, but really like a fucking hell of a thing, hell of a fight.
Well, you know what though? The one thing you should never, you didn't just do this, but one thing you should never do or say, I should have a list of this to somebody who's going through cancer is like, I just don't know how you do it. Like, and you're like, bitch, I didn't want this.
You didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice.
I have. When you have a child too, everything becomes crystallized.
Oh my God.
Like I remember saying to the doctors, I was like, and Lennon was with me actually when I got diagnosed, but I was like, listen, cut them off right now. And she's like, well, that's not how it's done. I was like, how soon can you do it? She's like, well, I mean, normally it takes months. I was like, I will have these boobs off of me in 2 weeks. Watch. Right. And I did.
Yeah, of course you did. Same though. Same.
Yeah. Get it off me. Yeah. So that, but anyway, so what I was going to talk about is after all of that happened, I thought, just like everyone now thinks, like, I'm done. Great. I'm done. I'm so glad I got through it. I wrote a beautiful season of television about it. I processed it wrong. That's when I started to go truly bananas because I had not had one moment to release the stress. So I started to rip walls down in my house. I thought I was Marie Kondoing, but I put like everything in garbage bags. Like I was like little Santa sack. Like I would just throw out everything and in the middle of the night, throw it out. Like
Jessica, did you maybe do something like sell the home that you lived in Los Angeles for the last 14 years? And
Busy, I wanted to do, when you did that, I was like, yes, let me do it too. Like I'm planning on, I want to do it. I'm still in it probably. Tell me, I want to know about that. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm the shaking zebra. You know what I mean? Like
you have to go on deep dive and tell her about.
You have to.
Yeah,
but
I will.
Can you tell me just a little bit though? Like because I was so inspired by that. I literally was living through you in that moment. I
don't know.
Because you made a decision that was like, you were like, fuck, this isn't working.
Well, it wasn't working. But I also don't know if this is either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you can take the girl out of the crisis. You can never take the crisis out of the girl. Like,
dude, it's like the amount of times I've changed my headboard on my bed. I'm like, you know what we need is a linen headboard. And Dan's like, please, not another bed. But like, you're right. At the end of the day, it's just you sleeping there. It's just you sleeping there.
Yeah, and we gotta like be able to figure it out. But the selling the house thing, I do now. I do feel like I was in. I talked about it on the podcast last week because our podcast because also the people that bought our house like ended up getting like, we also want this and we want this in your house and we want this in your house, like a bunch of furniture and stuff, and they weren't paying for it. They were just like included in the price of the house. And I was like a little bit like, okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can't take it. Yeah. That's take it with you.
Okay, fine. Just take it all. And now I'm like really mad about it because, I was like,
you want that sectional back. Like,
I want my fucking credenza. I want my light fixtures. Like I just was, like I don't know.
There's always going to be collateral damage when you talk about this kind of drastic move. But I'm fascinated because I would like to make a similar move and just like, before I have to go back to London, I want to sell this house, even though my mother has said it's the dumbest decision I could ever make. I want to sell it and be done. A lot of traumatic things happened here and I'm done.
I actually think this is okay. I'm going to tell you something that my mother had the opposite feeling.
Okay.
My mom was real smart. My mom said, Busy, the house has been made. You can't go back. that house was like how they say, how gangsters say that.
Yes.
Like a person's been made. She's like, the house has been made for you.
Wow.
It's
that's
done.
so good.
She was a real estate agent for literally 35 years. She's like, I know when a house has been made for a family, like it's done. You have to leave it. You can't, there's no going back.
That's inspiring because
Yeah.
she believes that energy is trapped into a house.
Yes. And
I love
okay,
it.
and I'm going to tell you one more thing because I know you do get a little fucking down with the woo-woo, like LA shit.
Not
which
a little
I'm very
down.
much. Yeah, I know. Very much on board with. So I did go back to LA for the first time, like a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so for this Girls 5 Eva thing that I had to do.
Yeah.
And it was, I was like, I mean, I have to go drive past. We never went back to the house. We didn't, because it was
get that,
COVID. And it was like the peak of COVID. And we just were like, well, we can't do it. I can't put my family at risk. I'm in the middle of shooting this series. Like, we just can't do it. So I'm back there a month ago. I was going to meet my BFF, Emily Beebe, also an only child since we were 5 years old, my BFF. I was going to her house, which to get from like the hotel I was staying at to her house, I had to pass my street. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to fucking do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to drive by it. And then I was at the stop sign or a stoplight to go up to the house. And I was like, I want to play Psychic Shuffle. And I hit shuffle. The light turned green and I went through and Road to Nowhere by Talking Heads started playing.
Oh, and I believe in that 1,000.
And that
your
was
light
it.
team, the people who have passed who are on your team. This is from Laura Lynn Jackson. Have you guys read this book or heard this interview with Chelsea Handler?
No.
Oh my God, guys. Okay,
What?
Caissie.
Now I'm writing this down. I already have Burnout.
Laura Lynn
Now
Jackson.
Laura Lynn, and please listen to these books. I don't know how to read anymore. I don't know if any of please don't actually read. But Laura Lynn Jackson, first I want you to listen to the interview with Chelsea Handler on her podcast. That's how Caissie and I and all of my little witches heard about her.
Okay.
She's a psychic in I don't know if she's in Long Island, but she's like us. She's like 3 kids, but she has always been, communing with the dead. She's had her brain studied by scientists. They're
wow.
When she goes into a trance, her brain scan looks like that of someone who's had a traumatic car accident.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. And Caissie saw her, and she talks about this on the first episode of Deep Dive.
Yes.
Caissie saw her, and her mother came through, and it was the most intense, but also exactly what your mother does when she comes through. She was like, check the lock on the pool. The guys are leaving it open, like blah, blah, blah. And at the end of it had like a message for our other friend. Like so her whole concept is we have these teams of light, these people who have passed that are on our little team. It's like our advisory council.
Oh, nice.
And they are there all the time. Some of them some of them you don't know.
Oh, interesting.
And they love to be asked to help. It's their favorite thing to do. And you can say to them, hey, guys, I want to know that we're in conversation. Could you show me a sign of whatever? For Chelsea, it's lemons. Or
Mine
oranges.
are the
I think
pennies.
it's oranges.
Mine are the
Yours
pennies.
are the pennies. Yeah.
Yeah. My penny thing
So
is
who is
fucking
it that
wild.
shows you penny? Who shows you pennies?
We're unclear. I'm unclear who it is, but they just show up when I ask and I need them. And sometimes when I don't ask, they just show up in like
That's-
wild ways.
That's
Mine is
exactly
Prince
it.
music. Prince music.
So apparently they're good at manipulating. I know I sound great. I don't give a fuck.
love
It's
it.
real.
You don't sound
Especially
crazy
when you
at
hear
all.
Caisie's experience with her mother. Like if we ever doubted it, but they can manipulate songs, technology. Like it's hard for them to get through to us. It's hard. They also can't appear. Like, what would happen to you if you saw a fucking dead friend in your bedroom? Then you'd be a crazy person and they'd have to lock you up. So honestly, Busy, I think my dead best friend was speaking through you to tell me to sell this fucking house. And so
Right.
I'm going to sell it because that's how crazy I am.
No, it's not crazy. It's time.
It's time.
The house has
also-
been made.
Also, it's been made. It's just a house. It's just
also
a
just a
place.
house.
It's just a place.
I know. And
It's
I have
just
to I get very attached to places,
Yeah.
things, and like
Yep.
things. Like I'm very attached to things.
That's
and so
right.
this part has been really tricky for me to like separate from the things. but I know that things are just things. I get it.
Can I tell you guys the wooest thing that has
Tell
ever
me right
happened?
now.
I'm just going to tell you. You know I love Prince. You guys are my friends. You know I love
Yeah,
Prince.
of course.
You know that
My
when
favorite.
he passed away, it was like my own other husband, my secret husband died.
Yes.
And like I like mourned like someone in my life passed away. And so that's my signs, like hearing. And when I was like just walking somewhere and like occasionally I feel like I'll hear voices or see things. And I was like in a deep, like one of those things where I felt like I had to be alone because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Like I'm going to lose it and melt down. And I felt like I heard his voice say, "This has all happened before and this will all happen again." And I know that's like some battle. I think that's like a quote from Battlestar Galactica or
I don't
whatever.
care.
Unbearable
I don't care.
lightness of being.
Unbearable lightness of being.
Yeah.
But to be like,
That's
to remember it or whatever, I'm like, everything that's like passing through my life or whatever that I'm like mourning the loss of or whatever, I'll get my hands on it again. You know what I mean?
And you wouldn't have stumbled upon that on your own. I do believe when you have that, she says, when you have that feeling, like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, that's a feel. That's real.
Yeah.
They're coming through to help you. It's almost like if you say to yourself, because I had a similar feeling the other day where I felt like my friend, and she'd come through. I think she'd come through to say like, good job on the podcast. I like you being your authentic self, literally. And I was sitting there with my husband and I had this feeling like she was saying like, it can be easy. Everything doesn't have to be hard.
Right.
Right.
Because I make everything hard, but like, let
Same.
it go. Let's let it go. Follow it. You want to sell this fucking house? Sell it.
There you go.
Nothing bad things is going to happen. You don't have to squeeze. You don't have to Lenny it. I always say Fred Savage would direct us in our first show, and he'd be like, "You're Lennying this scene. You're going to kill that mouse.
You don't
Stop.
need to
Let
squeeze
go.
that little animal.
You need to squeeze that little mouse until its
Let
head
go
explodes.
of the mouse.
Let go of the mouse."
I rewatched just because I was excited that you were coming on. I haven't seen you. This is, it's been the saddest about COVID, not seeing you at the hair salon.
Seeing people at the hair
I love to
salon.
see you at the hair salon.
We would like run into each other. We were on the same schedule for a good solid
We really were.
while before you left for London, actually. Right before
Yes.
you left. Like there
Yes,
were
we were.
months like that every time I went, it was like, oh yay, okay, hi. Let's talk.
I know we should coordinate it next time.
I know. Well,
And
I
by the
haven't-
way, Tracy's hair book is so beautiful. Caissie, you would fucking love it. It's called Color Story.
Well,
And
I
she
love.
does- yes.
She's amazing. I love her so much because my one of my angels in my life, Bette Midler, knows
She was her nanny.
She was and she helped her go to beauty school, and
That's amazing.
it's all connected. That's another.
It's all connected. Guys, it's all connected.
We're all connected.
It is.
Wait,
It
Paula
is.
Pell had one of those moments. Like this just reminded me because it's very similar to your moment where when we were doing Girls by Veva, where it was like sort of like a lucid dream or something. And she woke up and she just was like, death is a circle. What? Death is a circle. What? Death is a circle. And like she like woke up and she was saying death is a circle. And I was like, that's fucking amazing, Paula.
It's
like,
intense,
that is one of
Paula.
the best things I've ever heard.
Did she like grab some nuts at the craft service table? She's like, so death is a circle. When she tries to douse the rest of her body in
my
the
gosh.
sink, I was dying. I mean, you guys are just
I rewatched Playing House. I rewatched the first couple episodes of Playing House yesterday because I was crying hysterically, couldn't get my shit
Good,
together.
I'm so glad. It's a
and then I
comfort.
was like, Jessica's going to be
watch.
on the show tomorrow. I am gonna I haven't seen it in years. When did Playing House first come out?
Well, when I was breastfeeding, so 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
7
okay.
years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
7 years ago. And I forgot how bonkers Lindsay Sloan is on the show.
Well, talk about a transition of a character. So Bird Bones,
Yes.
who plays the wife of Keegan Michael Key, who was my love interest. She was supposed to be the embodiment of every girl you can't stand. Someone who doesn't have girlfriends, someone who doesn't know you. You say, what a wonderful sweater. Where'd you get it? And she's like, my birthday. And you're like, well,
That is the best line ever.
My birthday.
My birthday.
Right. My birthday.
Like, oh, you
And
can't tell
then-
me where you fucking got the sweater, Bird Bones.
That's right. And you know what is interesting is even though we're women, we created this character that we felt like was so unlikable. You would never want to see her again. And 2, be happy when I steal her husband. Well, fucking Lindsay Sloan rolls in, so lovable. She's
so cute.
She's
She's
beaming
so cute.
cuteness.
Yeah, even though
that
she's like,
people,
like squawking like a bird.
People fell in love with Bird Bones, and we could not. We had to turn her into our friend.
Yeah, you had
She
to do right by her.
emerged.
Yeah.
And it was such a wonderful evolution that I was like, oh, right. If you cast the right person, so
I
okay.
mean,
God. And it's so packed with funniness. Those first couple episodes are just like, I mean, like,
so stupid.
there's like a joke every second. It's
Do
so
Miss
funny.
it. I really miss it. Just like I'm sure you guys missed your show.
Would you guys
Yeah.
do a movie? Would you write a playing house
God.
movie?
You know that Lennon called me Miss Havisham. Remember in Great Expectations,
Yeah,
the
of
woman who
course.
won't take off
Yeah.
the wedding dress?
Yes.
I'm always like, what if? And she's like, Jessica, let it go. I'll never let it go. I
Don't ever
would,
let it go.
I would do it if someone like resurrected it. Oh, in a heartbeat. I would have done
bitch,
anything
Kate
for
and
it.
Kate and Elliot playing house like they're grown up.
That's
you guys,
a great idea. Yeah, fuck that. Listen, I don't know why I deep dived on Suits the other night because I was
Ooh,
watching
you
Girls
wanted to
Five
see
Ever.
Meghan
And
Markle.
I said, I got to see Meghan Markle before
Yeah,
she
I
became
get
Meghan
it.
Markle. And there was
I get
some crazy makeup choices made for her in the first couple seasons. I mean, all
filmed
of
in
us.
Canada. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Heavy eyes. You know, I was like, God. But I was, during my breakdown, I became obsessed with Meghan Markle. In that she could just be like, fuck it. I'm going to London. You guys can go fuck your own faces. Because like I remember like our show had just gotten canceled and she got to walk off of Suits. Like, yeah, you want me to do season 8? I'm going to fucking marry a prince, you piece of shit. And then go like have a bunch of sex in a tent in Africa. And so I became obsessed with her. I would Google her every night just to see what her wonderful, beautiful life was. And then we find out it was a living nightmare.
Yeah, a hell. Yeah.
She
A
wishes she was
hellscape.
back on Suits.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
honestly, but isn't that amazing? Because we all looked at her outfits
Yeah.
and her Aquazzura shoes, and we thought, what a wonderful life. She never has to work again. I mean, this was me. I was like, I'd pack me up. I'll go. But she was living in a nightmare, and now she's, emerging as the person she wants to be.
I mean, listen, I love the love. I love the love between Meghan and Harry.
Sure.
But
the sex must
that-
be incredible.
I
Must be
mean,
incredible.
must be.
Must be mind-blowing.
Must be.
Just
but-
staring
I don't know. I
But
don't know. I was thinking about it. I was like genuinely
You don't
really
think?
thinking about it.
I'm gonna say he's got to be pretty good at. I feel like there's royal training. There must be royal sex training. Don't you feel
Okay,
like?
you guys, this is a podcast.
So many people.
You think he did?
Yes,
he
he
did.
was.
Yeah.
He was a party. He
really-
was
yeah,
a
he
party
was-
boy. He
I
could
think
have sex
so. I feel like there's like a royal academy of fucking. But
Wow.
but
Wow. Okay. Okay.
but as a job, being a royal person sucks.
It sucks.
And it
Who would
is
want
not
that?
something that you want to join in progress,
No,
certainly.
it's also just like it's not even real. And you have to like if you're a person with any amount of critical thinking, you know that it's not real. So you must just be like, "Oh, Jesus, this is
Jesus.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is
Again?
embarrassing."
I gotta wear pantyhose. Fuck
Oof.
that.
Although
Anyway.
is Kate Middleton a little bird bones?
Oh yeah. Listen, I don't know which way to go on her because the British people love her. They will have not a word said against her. But then
Uh-huh.
my grocery lady, who I used to get my
Ooh.
vegetables from, I would always get the pulse on Meghan. I'd say, "How are we feeling about Meghan Markle?" And she said she's going to take that family to California and we'll never see her again. She said this like 2 years before it happened.
Interesting.
This is the
But she said
British.
they used to call-
this is in London.
my
British in
Yeah, my
London.
British vegetable lady.
Okay.
But she said about Middleton, she said they used to call them the Wisteria sisters because they were climbers. They were always going towards the crown. Like you have to really make a concerted effort to end up marrying a prince. But anyway, who cares? I don't want her life anymore. That's the good news. I don't have to mute her on Instagram.
There you
because
go.
I don't want her
even
life.
think I don't think she has an Instagram.
No,
Does
she
she?
doesn't
No.
anymore.
But
if
wait,
she had
listen.
one, I wouldn't have to.
And she had a food blog. Wait, but okay, what did your breakdown, other than like you were throwing stuff out, you were like having, and then how did you reconcile it and shake like a zebra and then move the fuck on?
Well, first of all, I didn't know it was happening. That was the bummer, is I just thought I was angry and mad at every single thing in my life. So I was like, whatever gave me cancer, I need to reinvent. So, everything, what my house looked like, what my relationships looked like. And I just felt like everything was wrong. And I wanted to burn it to the ground. And it was very painful for the people around me because they were like, wait, why are you suddenly so angry at all of us? And I'm like, don't you guys see? We all have to change. We have to be better. We have to be healthier. And had I understood it was a stress thing that was happening to me, post-traumatic stress disorder, I would have gone and gotten help. So I finally, at the very end of it, and I'm telling you, I was like ready to light the last match. I went to see this woman who was a somatic therapist. So all she does is work with trauma in the body and how do you regulate your body when you're feeling like you're out of your zone? They talk about like resiliency zone. That's when you're feeling like your fight or flight brain is turned off, but your prefrontal cortex is on. It's when you can make good decisions, when you don't like want to smash things, all that. So there's all these physical tools that just work with your body to calm it down so that you can turn back on your prefrontal cortex. One of those things, though, is crying, walking, because you want to turn on your left-right brain. So like if you go for a walk, let's say you're sobbing uncontrollably and you need to get your shit together. If you go for a walk and count your steps or say, I'm going to name all of the animals in the alphabet, and you go through, I'm going to count all the windows I see. Just doing that turns this brain on, the prefrontal cortex. When that prefrontal one is on, the fight or flight brain has to turn off. They can't both be on at the same time. So that idea of how your body and your brain works was mind-blowing to me. I truly thought that I was going to be a victim of my own stress for the rest of my life. So, but it's really hard because I still have so many days where I'm out of my zone. And when you're out of your zone, it's hard to remember, wait, I'm out of my zone. I should do these things to help myself.
Right.
So, but the biggest thing is I got this job, or I got this audition to do Avenue 5 in London, and I became obsessed. Now, again, was a part of my Meghan Markle obsession, maybe, but I was like, I got to get out of this country. I got to get the fuck out of here. And I remember Lennon being like, I don't think this is a good time for you to leave the country with your family. You're losing your mind. And I was like, you listen to me right now. I went and bought the same camel coat at, where the fuck did she shop? Meghan Markle had a store in the Century City Mall that I forget what the name of it is. Anyway, I went and bought the coat she wore, the camel coat. And Lenny goes, what the fuck are you doing with this coat? It's for winter. And I go, I'll need it in London. She goes, now you're losing it. These people don't want you, bitch. Nobody gave you a call back. And I was like, I'll get to London if it kills me. Well, I got to London. Okay.
You did.
I got to London, and I will tell you, you guys, I'm just sharing all the weird shit, but I got to London and I'm there and it's like March. And I decide to go for a run, which I never do. But I'm like, I'm going to go for a run. That's the other thing. I wasn't working out. And that's why I love it. When I see your sweats, I'm like, yes, that's you. Yes. And I don't do that enough. But I go for this run and I see this little crocus coming up, through the snow. And I literally fell to my knees and I started sobbing, which is very disturbing for British people to see. They do not like gigantic displays of affection. No. But my brain was craving new. It needed new things. It needed new sights to see, to get new pathways. It was so used to seeing the same traumatic shit that the newness of looking at a fountain from the 16th century was feeding me. So
wait, so when do you go back to London?
So we go back in August. We were supposed to go back. It'll be 2 years since we shot the first season.
Space Force?
It's not Space Force. And it's called, I was on 2 space shows concurrently. It was so strange. One I was on Earth and when I was in space.
Wait.
When I was on Earth.
But they both shot in London?
No, only one of them did. Space Force was here, but Avenue 5, which is
Avenue 5,
we're
right.
trapped on a spaceship. And all of my comedy nerd boy, best friends from old, they were just like, I can't think of anyone less suited to be on a space show. You hate space. I'm like, I've long said I hate space. That's
I
right.
love that
Oh
about
my
you.
God.
Yes,
I love that
space.
you hate space, that you have a take on space.
I do. I hate it. I don't like Star Wars. I don't like any of it.
Yeah, I don't either,
but
by the way.
So we're going back, which would be really interesting because it was such a magical time the last time. I'm afraid I won't be my best self there again or something, or like I'm going to have to embrace it'll be different. It'll be different.
It's going to be different. But the good news is you're vaccinated. And are you going to put baby back in the same school?
Yeah,
What's
BB
happening?
will be back
BB.
in school, but
Wait, is
that's
BB a
also
nickname?
really-
BB's a nickname.
Yeah.
It is.
BB's a nickname.
BB is my grandmother, her great grandmother had 14 children and nobody named them after her. But there's one other cousin. I have like 55 cousins. But anyway, so her name was Isabel, but people called her Babe
So
as a nod to
BB's
her.
named
BB.
for
Yeah,
Isabel.
I like
BBE.
Babe. I like Babe too, though.
Isn't Babe great? Oh, maybe
Babe
she'll
is
be Babe when she gets
amazing.
older.
Yeah,
Yeah, Babe
Babe.
was her nickname.
I used to be BB and now I'm Babe.
Now I'm Babe. Well, I loved all of your names that you came up with. Because how did your
you.
parents go so rogue and named you Busy?
It was Elizabeth. And then Busy was like a nickname
Cute.
for Busy that my sister and a babysitter kind of spearheaded. And then here,
I love
here
a
was.
nickname.
Here
You know
stuck.
why? Because it means people love you. They love you enough to give you a new name. I'm
But
like
isn't it
in
funny?
love with that.
I named my kids specifically nicknames so that they would never have to have that day on the first day of school where they say, but I really prefer to be called.
That's right. And
Busy.
that's what BB has. Or they can never find her. Like I brought her lunch
Yes,
and she's
it's
like,
hard.
it never came to me.
It's hard.
She's
It's
like,
hard.
they were looking for Isabel. Yeah, they never
But
came
then
to
we
me.
still give them nicknames. Still call our kids
Oh, you do?
other things. Yeah,
That's
it's like
really-
you can never get
it's
away from
so
a nickname is what I'm going to say.
It's just hard
you're a
to be
lovable
kid.
person.
It's difficult in either way, no matter what.
Okay, so you're going back. You're going to put BB in school back in the same
school.
place.
She did cry about it last night, telling me like now she's finally made some friends in this school that they could finally go to in person. And now I'm ripping
You're
her
like-
out. And
You're like, you've been there for 3 weeks, honey.
I know.
You
I was like,
you're
you know
fine.
what? We haven't met any soulmates yet, have we? She's like, I think so. I'm like, well, then it will last. Like,
Wait, how old? What grade is she in?
she's in first grade.
Oh yeah.
But
She'll
you
be
know
fine.
what?
I'm like, she'll
they-
be fine.
I know, but we've and we've spent so much of this year worried about our children, trying to protect their mental health. I really
And
wasn't,
rightfully
to be
so.
honest, worried that anybody was going to die of COVID, although I guess I should have been. But once I'm like, if cancer didn't get me, COVID can go fuck itself. But I've been so worried about BB and like and they are resilient, but they do have lasting effects of this weird Zoom life we've put them in.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Yeah.
will this fuck her up more? I don't fucking know.
I don't
can't-
think so.
I need the money, so we're gonna go and I'm gonna do the show.
go. Listen, fuck her up now. Get it over with.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
also think that like, yeah, my theory is always like give them something to talk about in therapy when they're 25.
That's right. That's right. You need something interesting. But I have a mother surrogate here who just passed away actually a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
and
sorry,
she's
Jess.
I know. She's the best. But of course she's on my light team. I think she's making all the shit in my house break so I can move out of here
So you
because she
can
was
get
my
out,
neighbor.
yeah.
Yeah,
There you
she was
go.
my neighbor. She didn't like this place. But I remember calling her in the bathroom of the hotel. My husband and I were taking turns crying in there when we first got to London. And I was like, this is a huge mistake. I fucked everything up. And she wrote back, listen, it's time for BB to have a struggle and to see that she can get through it. Because that's more valuable than keeping them in this little bubble. Like
Yeah.
I say the same for any of our kids. It's like, yes, they are going to have struggles and it breaks your heart in a million pieces and you want to like claw out your eyes because they're in pain. But then they get through it and they see that their moms loved them and their dads and their partner, you love them so much that then they can take on the world.
Yes.
That's
And
genius.
who wants to sit next to somebody at a cocktail party where bad shit hasn't happened to them? That's
Well,
a
no
boring
one.
person.
And
Move
by
on.
the way, I do have to say that was a thing that like Bertie never wanted to hear from us, but I did say multiple times, like the most interesting people and the best fucking people I know were traumatized. Like, I'm sorry, it's just true. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? There isn't one. And it can be small T, guys. It doesn't have to be big T.
Doesn't have to
be big T.
The biggest.
It can be
a
small
tiny T. It could be small T, but you know what? That's how you become empathetic. It's about how you realize like it isn't easy for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. You know, I had a dead tooth until I was in 3rd grade. Okay. I was the girl with the dead tooth.
Hey, by the way, oh God, I could literally talk to you for the next 17 hours. Wait, okay. I do want to say I did pull some of these weird cards that I keep on my desk just like while we were chatting. And here are the two that came just because you were the right person to do this with.
Oh, of course.
Here are the two that popped up.
Okay.
The first one is, we're no longer trapped the way children are. Oh, I just got the chills. Me too. Ooh. And the second one is this, and I think it really speaks to everything that we've talked about here. Also, the space that your podcast holds now and the other work that you've done also holds. And also, Caissie, I think this is applicable for you and me too. There's always someone suffering just in the way we are.
Oh my God. That's exactly what I said to you.
I know, that's really crazy.
Guys, I'm sorry. There have been lots of dead people on this podcast with us right now.
Yeah,
There's
there
like
really has.
so many of them.
There's
I mean,
so many.
Caisie's the only one that can see them because I truly believe if anyone's going to see a fucking ghost, it's you. You're just like, I've been seeing them the whole time. I'd be like, of course you do.
She's like, listen, they're more like colors. It's not, guys, it's not like I see like people. It's like I see like, you know, like a mist and it's like color. But they're all really friendly. They're all very friendly.
They've all been very nice to me. And they
I'm
all
gonna go
say
take
hi.
a walk. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a fucking walk right now. The light's going to be good. I'm going to count my steps. I'm going to reset my fucking brain.
I am going to send you this thing called iChill, or you can just do it on your app. It's an app called iChill, and it has all the little tools. They're not hard.
I'm writing it all down.
iChill,
Well,
and I
wait,
make
you know what
Phoebe
it
do them
is?
too sometimes. She
You know
hates
what that
it.
is? It's also DBT therapy.
It's
There you
exact.
go.
Yes,
It's
which
what
I
it
also
is, 'cause
did.
because we're doing DBT in my house a little bit, and or a lot of bit because you don't do a little bit. What?
That's the best.
Yes.
That is, I did that when I was right before I was going to give birth because I was like, I need to learn my emotions. I don't know how to manage them. And it was the best. It's the best gift you can give your kids. That
DBT is really amazing.
It's amazing.
Recognizing and figuring out what it is and where it comes from. It's all a part of a piece. If you're feeling like a shaking zebra, we're with you.
Oh yeah.
At home.
Shake it. Let it shake.
Let it shake.
Don't stop shaking.
Don't stop the shaking.
Stop
Don't
shaking.
stop shaking.
But you could take a walk. But you could take a walk.
If
maybe.
you need to.
Or cry.
Yeah.
Or cry. Hot
run.
shower. Hot shower is great.
I
Any
do
change
baths.
of temperature.
I do take. Oh yeah, cold water too, right under your eyes. Do you guys know that?
Really? No.
Yeah, this is from the DBT thing. Like,
what?
You wanna seem as though you're diving into cold water. So you want to put your head between your knees, put your face down, and then put ice or cold washcloths or ice packs on your like eyes. Like, I don't know why your forehead and your eyes, like right where your head would hit the water first. I don't know.
Interesting.
I did that. I filled up a bowl of ice water and dipped my face in it. And Dan was like, what the fuck is this cult about? And I was like, no, it works. It'll shock you out. Dive in.
It
Okay,
shocks
guys.
you out.
You're the
I
best.
just am so excited to talk to you and see you. And I love the podcast. Jessica.
We love you so much.
I love you
Clair.
guys.
And I love that I lost that job to you all those years ago. And I remember seeing you in the waiting room at NBC in that little weird room they kept us in before we went in.
I'm remembering all of this now.
And I remember that I think you went in the prime position, which was like second. Remember when you used to have to test?
Great.
And it was like, if you went first, you're like, oh, you're definitely not getting it. If you go second, you're probably getting it. Third, you might get it. You swear to God. And I remember thinking at the time, like, who the fuck is this bitch? But also, like, I'm drawn to her. I love her. But who is she?
Why? But isn't that funny? There was one woman in that show, and we were all in competition for that one spot.
Of course.
I want to be in a show like you're on where everybody's a woman. Come on now.
Everybody shines.
Let's
do
it. Let's do it more and more and more until we become someone's light team.
Are you before I let you go really fast, you guys listen to the podcast, but are you and Lennon working on any new shows together or anything?
Yes, we are writing a new movie.
Great.
But you know what? For ourselves. Not that I'm not going to say, I was going to say, not that I think anyone would give me the money. Fuck that shit. Give me your money.
Someone will give it to you.
Yeah.
But you know what? We did write a movie for somebody else, and it was a really interesting process, but like I would rather write the script. And then if somebody likes it enough to give us some money to shoot it, great. But I don't want to do the notes thing anymore.
Right.
I'm not interested. I mean, I just want to write it. And then, but you know what? It's a lot of investment of time where you're like, oh God, I hope somebody buys this. But you know what? Who cares?
Well, yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you have the time to do it. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you have the fucking time.
That's right. So,
and and the other thing is too, my mom, another horrible thing saying my mother would say is there's more than one way to skin a cat.
I love this woman.
There's more than one way to get a movie made. You know what I mean?
That's 100%.
It doesn't have to be a fucking studio. There's lots of people that have money that want to get in the movie biz.
And you know what? It doesn't have to be hard. Let's remember what my dead best friend said.
That's
right. It can be easy, guys. It can be easy. I love you guys.
It can be easy. You guys, let it be easy. Let's let it be easy.
Let's let it be easy.
Oh, Jessica, love you so much. It made my day.
You guys.
To see
this
your
really
face.
made my day. This turned everything around for me.
For me too.
Yay! Me too. Come back a million times when you have time.
I will.
And I'll come on your podcast when you ask me.
Okay.
100%. You're next, both of you. And also, I didn't press record on my QuickTime. So is that terrible?
No, that's okay. Give Dan and BB my love, please.
I will. Same to you guys.
Okay,
and I love you
hugs.
so much.
Love you so much. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Beekeepers Naturals. Beekeepers Natural. Beekeepers Naturals. Beekeepers Naturals. Oh, I think that's the best one I've ever done.
That one was good because I felt the naturalness vibes.
It was like, I was really feeling it because I do love these Beekeepers Naturals.
First things first, what I love about the company is that it's woman-founded, woman-owned, and that that's the first thing that I love. But I also really love the products. They have gotten me through some rough times.
Well, here's the deal. Carly Stein, who is the founder of the company, discovered propolis, which is the first medicine that actually made her feel like her health was in her hands. And that experience inspired her to tackle modern health issues from stress-based low immunity to brain fog and energy through the ingredients found in nature. You guys, I've been using the naturals, the Beekeepers Naturals Be Immune Propolis throat spray. My kid has been using the throat spray, and I do feel a little bit like it gives me like a boost of like, it just makes my throat feel much better, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I also have been using the lozenges.
Yes.
And I've been, guess what, using the lozenges when I've had to sing for Girls 5 Eva.
Oh,
that is a true story.
If bees believe in it, I believe in it.
So guys, today Beekeepers Naturals is offering you an exclusive offer. Go to beekeepersnaturals.com/busy or enter code busy at checkout to get 20% off your first order. That's BEEKEEPERSNATURALS.com/busy. Start feeling better every day. Today, You can also find Beekeepers Naturals nationwide in over 2,000 stores like Target, Whole Foods, and Sprouts.
Way to go, Beekeepers Naturals.
I know, it's great for them, but I don't get credit for it. So go to beekeepersnaturals.com/busy. You guys, I'm not kidding. I love this Beekeepers Naturals stuff. Like, I truly used the throat spray this morning.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's a really great company.
I'm going to go use it right now, actually. Guys, Jessica St. Clair is the greatest.
She's the best. I love her so much.
Okay, now, this brings us to some things that I need to talk about.
Okay.
Number one, it's a Gina update.
Okay.
Gina is my dog, Ryan.
Okay. Gorgeous.
Gina's dog, Pamplona DPV, is still raging. The antibiotics did not help the mouth warts, the Pamplona virus.
Papilloma.
Papilloma?
I don't know what Pamplona.
I thought it was Pamplona. I thought it was Pompeii. Is it not Pompeii virus?
I hope not. No.
Oh, okay.
Dog
papilloma.
papilloma.
The dog papilloma
DPV.
virus,
Yeah.
DPV. The medicine that we put Gina on did not get rid of the mouth warts. She's still very much inflamed with mouth warts. I tried to put some CBD oil on it because I read that online. That just did nothing except made her sleep. And that's where we're at. And it's very unsightly, but at the same time, the only choice we have would be to like put her under and have them surgically removed, which just feels like dumb because that's just cosmetic. I don't know what to do, guys. I wish they made like, I know she knows too. Oh, she's curled up over there. She knows. She totally knows. And she's like self-conscious about it. And she's been trying to give me extra cuddles. She's been very cute. Number
dogs
2.
Can't use mouthwash. That's what I feel like. If dogs could gargle mouthwash, it would help, but they can't because of think about it.
I mean,
how does one get the virus? How did she
it's
get
mostly
it?
puppies, and it's like at a doggy daycare, and it's like they share toys, and it's because they'll build up an immunity to it. But the only thing is, you have to wait for it to like the virus to like go away naturally for them, and it could be anywhere from like. I mean, I think it's been a month. It can be like up to 6 months for it to go away. But she can't go see other dogs until it's gone away, which is such a fucking bummer because she is bored. Number 2, remember I told you about that we were waiting on the results for the tick-borne illness? Well, unfortunately, Gina has it. Like she tested positive from the PCR test. So we started her on the round of a month long, like fucking antibiotic that she has to be on. But I just want you guys to know that I have Whitney Cummings and her boyfriend on it. So I have the best in the biz. I have the craziest dog people that exist helping me with this. Like, at some point we have to have Whitney on the podcast. She hasn't been on yet, has she?
No. No,
I don't know.
She was on the TV show a lot, but yeah.
But we have to have Whitney on because, I mean, I want her to stay with this boyfriend forever because this is like the craziest thing. But like, I've essentially known him since he was 5 years old.
Oh my gosh,
it's crazy. It's a crazy story, you guys. But Whitney's boyfriend's dad was my childhood dog's veterinarian in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh wow.
Ooh,
That's
meant to be.
I don't know him, but like when I was like in high school and Whitney's boyfriend was like 5 and we would bring Harrison in for his checkups, like that little kid was in there and is now, fucking
wow.
Whitney Cummings. Anyway, the point
we
the
think
point is,
we think
I think their Instagram
they fuck on it.
Official. Well, wait, I don't know.
Maybe.
Wait, do people know?
It's a crazy time.
It is. We don't know what they're doing. I guess you're right, Caissie. I guess you're right. Anyway, the point being, he's like one of the best vets in the country. Second gen, he's a great vet.
Yeah.
He's like an incredible vet. So he got Gina's records sent to him. We emailed them to him. He's like on top of it. I feel confident that we're going to take care of our baby. And really, the tick-borne illness thing, she doesn't have any sort of symptoms of. It's just the mouth warts, which are a separate thing, are so fucking gross.
Yeah.
And I just, there's the picker in me that it's hard for me not to want to like just like snip them off myself. I'm not going to. Ryan, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I would never.
Ryan's afraid to meet you in person now.
I would never. I would never. I would never.
Wow.
I would never.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I do want to like just take them. Or put like a zit sticker on them, But I feel like she would just lick that right off.
Yeah.
Because you can suffocate warts. Guys, here's a hot tip. Because one of my kids had like little warts on their knees. Like how kids get like weird warts. No. Okay. Well,
warts is a part of kid culture.
Yes,
yeah, it is.
kid culture. Kid culture. Thank you. It's totally kid culture. Okay, so one of my kids had like little warts on their knees, and my dermatologist was like, "Do you know those like zit stickers?" I was like, "Of course, yeah, I have them." And she's like, "Yeah, just put a zit sticker on it for a couple weeks, it'll go away." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, just like gets rid of them." That's what zit stickers, not sponsored. Zit stickers literally just get rid of like kid warts.
Yeah, it's the same thing, like salicylic acid.
Wow. I don't know anything
Well,
about anything.
Because you have perfect skin and you don't need zit stickers and you have no warts.
It didn't always used to be that way. I swear, quitting drinking cleared it up. It's true. Like, you glow by J-Lo. Bringing it back to J-Lo,
Wait,
you guys' queen.
are you sobs?
Yeah, I've been sober for almost a year.
Almost a year?
Yes.
During the pandemic, you got sober?
That's because I got sober, babe. For God's
Wait,
sake.
tell me everything. I want to know.
I mean, I've been on a slippery slope with booze for a couple of years, but it wasn't like here's the deal. I think our culture has a very binary way of talking about drinking.
Sure.
You either have a problem or you don't. And if you don't check those boxes, honey, you're good. Keep going. Have that rosé all day.
Right.
And I feel like because I was really high functioning, because I never burned any jobs or relationships to the ground, and I basically went through life with like mid-grade hangover that I got used to. And, I tried AA and it wasn't really for me. And I felt like I wasn't like, and then that also made me feel very isolated and alone, being like, okay, I think I have a drinking problem, but it doesn't fit all these criteria. So what the fuck? So anyway, smash cut to the pandemic. And, I'm just, I'm drinking. I'm drinking like everyone else is on Instagram. And by the way, I'm seeing boomerangs of people being like quarantini and like Anna Garten's making a fucking vodka slushy at like 9 in the morning. We're like, no, queen, go off. And you're like, that's dark, ... Do you know what I mean? But like alcohol is sewn into the fabric of our culture and it's really normalized.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. I have this really unremarkable night where I drink a bottle of wine, that's per usual. And then I wake up in the middle of the night, hungover, that's per usual. And I make all these promises to myself that I'm going to the next day's going to be different. I won't drink, blah, blah, blah. And then I read this, I start Googling just like alcoholism, drinking, whatever. And I find this article on The Cut by Edith Zimmerman, who used to run The Hairpin. And she got sober, and she got sober through reading this book called This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. Mm-hmm. And I read the intro to the book on Amazon because they have those like little previews or whatever. Like my hungover ass, like bleary eyed, trying to keep my eyes open, whatever. And literally she describes she's like, it's like 3 a.m. I jolted awake with another hangover and I made all these promises to myself the next day will be different. And I know that, come 5 p.m. it will be a different, I won't keep any promises. So that like cracked my brain wide open. I was like, truly drag me to hell, Annie Grace. Like that, me. And then I bought the book, I read it in one sitting, and I never drank again, never felt a craving again. It's like Men in Black memory eraser. Like it's literally like alcohol is out of my life, but it really involves you having a deep perspective shift, which is like where I think we run into problems is like people being like, I want a glass of wine, but I need to be good tonight. I need to not drink. I need to do this, whatever. And then you see the glass of wine, you're like, bummer. And it's all about willpower, which TBH doesn't last a long time.
Right.
So what you need to do, like what this book kind of teaches you, TBH, which is true, is like that alcohol is kind of low key a scam. And it's like basically like the way that like we talk about tobacco, like in the 1950s when they're like, have a cigarette. cigarette while you're pregnant. Like, Virginia Slims for you.
Right.
And everyone was like, great. And like, now we have the language and the knowledge and the critical thinking around tobacco being like, it's bad, you shouldn't do it. Alcohol is pretty much literally the same way. It's ethanol, it's poison. And it's like, it's not to be like a liberal article about it, but like it's BFFs with capitalism and like it's to make so much money. And it's like, and again, it's so normalized in our culture. You see like Christina Applegate drink a bottle of wine at 11 a.m. and dead to me and you're like, oh my God, lol. Like, you know what I mean? And it's really fucked up. And it's just, like reading this book cracked my head like wide open. And it's like, I just look at alcohol as generally a toxic thing that like people should have a lot more critical thinking about. And I think, but I don't think people like looking into the mirror. And I think it really triggers people when you've like opted out of the alcohol conversation. And it's, I think that's the hardest part. It's not, I don't miss alcohol for 1 second, but it's like people's reactions to your sobriety, like some people are very triggered and they have a hard time with it. Yeah. And it's interesting.
For sure. No, I can imagine. I used to be that way too. Well, I go through stretches of time where I like don't drink at all. And I always feel the best. I know. The best that I've ever felt.
No, I know.
I want to read this book. I'm going to read this book. I actually am because I do feel like I'm a little bit like similar journey where I'm like, I've talked about it. Like I've taken like huge breaks from drinking.
Same.
I personally like hate alcohol culture and specifically like I've talked about this in interviews, like I hate like mom wine culture. Like I think it's such fucking bullshit. Like if you have to get drunk to like parent, let's be real. Like guys, what are we doing here? Yeah. What are we doing? You know? Oh guys, have you watched that show? I want to ask you guys if you watched this. And then I have to tell you my story because I got to tell this story before we go.
All right.
But I keep Birdie. Okay, so I'm trying to get Birdie to watch anything with me. Anything that's not screaming Twitch teenagers. Like I cannot take these fucking kids on Twitch. Like, and I want to watch a show with my kid and like engage with them. It's not happening. Feel Good on Netflix. Did you watch Feel Good?
Yes, I did. I feel like Feel Good is like our sister show in a lot of ways.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it stars Mae Martin, who's this incredible comedian, but also has Lisa fucking Kudrow. So you're just like, sign me up. She's the fucking queen. It's the best. Season 2's coming out soon.
I know, and I really want to watch it with my kid, but we'll see if that happens. Okay, so here's a story that I want to like leave everybody with. Ryan, I have to give you a little bit of a backstory because you didn't get to listen to the interview with Jessica St. Clair.
Okay.
But in it, we discuss this psychic, Laura Lynn Jackson. Do you know who that is?
No.
I didn't either, really. But she's a psychic who talks about like the angels around you, like the light bringers, the people
your light team,
like the people who are in your life who've passed on. Maybe you don't even know them and they like leave, but they can leave you signs and they generally pick a thing that they feel like you would respond to. So for the last several years, like I've had this whole thing that's happened to me with pennies, and I've like been finding these pennies all over the place. And then Jess said, do you know who your light team is to me in the interview? And I was like, oh, I mean, I don't know, whatever. The truth is I did know, and I just didn't say it in the moment. I don't know why. Partially I've thought about it. Partially I think it's because I felt like if I said the thing that I wanted to say or that I know to be true, not that I wanted to say, that I know to be true, that it would be like admitting a real thing to what is essentially like unprovable. And the truth is that my mom's mom, my grandmother Moot, used to sing Pennies from Heaven to me when I was little, always. She would sing a lot of things. She was like, she called herself the all tap dancing, all singing, all tap dancing Moot.
Cute.
Yeah, she was amazing and like truly a wild spirit and also just really weird. And
You have to be called Moot, I think.
I mean, you do. Like one time she came in to tell me, this is my favorite thing. And she just was like, I mean, she came in to tell me and my friend Lisa that the tater tots and like chicken nuggets were done. And she was like, Hatsy tatsy, I'm a Nazi. Tater tots. And I was like, Moot, I don't think that's insane. And she's like, well, I didn't mean I'm a Nazi. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She was like, that song. And I was like, no, Moot, no one sings that song.
No, that's not true. That's the exact song Scarlett Johansson sings in Jojo Rabbit.
I swear to God, Rita Ora, my Moot taught Rita Ora that, and she taught it to Taika Waititi.
So
What's his
that's
name?
when it turned them all on, and that's what triggered the triple kiss.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point being, Moot was like wild, like a spirit, a kindred spirit. I like loved my Moot, and she used to sing Pennies from Heaven, among other many songs that she would sing to me. And so I find these pennies and like, I'm pretty sure Moot's on my light team, right? But so after that interview with Jessica on Thursday, and like I said earlier in the show, like I've had a week, like a reckoning, like like trying to get through shit. And so I was thinking about like the next day, I was like, oh, so funny. Like, why didn't I say that? Like when we were doing that interview, well, part of me is like, I want to be a good interviewer. I want to be better at this job. And I want to like make sure that things aren't just like about me and, all of that. And then there was that other piece of like, if I named it, does it make it less sacred? There's that. And then there's the other thing, which is like, if I name it, does it make it too real? And then do I sound crazy? Okay. But then I had therapy, which is the fucking greatest gift a person could have. So anyway, so I started to tell Lita like the whole journey, right? And then this memory comes to me. I'm walking. I had decided to do therapy while walking through New York City because sometimes it's like nice for me to do that while I'm having therapy, like to walk and to see things. I used to drive when I lived in Los Angeles, but of course there was nowhere to walk to. So now that I'm in New York, I walk and I do therapy. I was crying a little bit, telling her this whole thing. And then I had this memory as I'm telling her about the Moot and the pennies from heaven and the singing and the thing and these like and your light team and finding these things. And I remember that when I was I was probably about Cricket's age when Moot's husband died. And my mom's dad died long before I was born. So I never knew him. And my mother loved him so much. But I was never lucky enough to meet him. But Moot got remarried later on, and I called him Macamac. Macamac was my grandfather. It was Moot and Macamac. And I loved him. He was so fun. He was like, drove this big Cadillac, and like they always smelled like cigarettes because they smoked. And he was really fun and funny and older, and he passed away. And we went back to Chicago for the funeral, and Catholic funerals are fucking wild, especially like in the late 80s when I was a kid. Like they're open casket and you like see the person all made up, and it's like a vibe. It's a vibe for an 8-year-old. And after, I look at this kid that I have to put to bed in like 2.5 minutes. And I'm like, can I imagine showing this kid their dead grandparent? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Different
so
time.
Weird.
It's so weird that I had to like go look in at him and like say goodbye to him. And so he wasn't my like grandfather by blood, but he was the only grandfather I knew on my mom's side. And I loved him so much, my Macamac. And he loved to play golf. Like, he had the Cadillac, he played golf, he smoked. He was like classic 80s grandpa. And And so the after party, is that what they call it? They call it an after party? What do they call it?
Putting the fun in funeral. Yes,
Sure.
The reception.
Sure, the reception? Still, after party. Okay, so the after party reception luncheon thing was at the like golf club that he was a member of, that he loved. And I remembered, this is while I'm in therapy, I'm having this memory. And I remember that my grandma and my mom and my aunt were all sitting at this table. And then my older cousins, who were in their teens, like teens, late teens, took me and some younger kids like out. It wasn't like on the golf course. It was just like some greenery around the clubhouse, you know, to kind of like just get us out of the way, I think, and get us outside. And it was gloomy and a little misty. So my older cousins were talking to us and asking us about Mac, and I was saying how much I felt like he was like still with us. I feel like he's still here, and I just wish that there could be some sort of like sign that he was still with us, you know? And at that moment, I remember a golf tee like falling from the sky onto the ground. And I grabbed it and everybody freaked out. We all freaked out. We ran into the clubhouse and I like tried to show my mom and my grandma and my aunt, and they were like, "You guys are so cute. Oh, you're so sweet." You know, like this is a golf course, you know, it's like golf tees are everywhere. Like, you know, you're good. And so then you can just explain to me the magic trick of me walking past the Five Guys in the West Village and this golf tee right here appeared out of nowhere in front of me as I was telling my therapist the story on Friday. Spooky or just fucking
but in
amazing.
a nice way. In an amazing way. No,
Or
it's
fucking
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
Or fucking like Mac, thank you for being on my light team.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Isn't that nuts?
That's nuts.
That's wild.
I know.
Busy's showing us
I'm
the golf tee
holding the golf tee, guys.
in her hand that she
That
found
is crazy.
in Manhattan.
Because as I got to like the pinnacle of the story and I'm walking and there's like a fucking Five Guys and it's dirt, like it's like there's like a dead rat and then just like a fucking golf tee in the middle of New York City. I was like, absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not. Or yes.
That's incredible.
Wow.
You guys.
I feel like
it
the
wasn't
universe
a
probably
penny.
gives me that's amazing. There's no golf courses in West Village, honey. So
No golf courses. And whoever's light team is leaving dead rats all around Manhattan, please stop.
I mean,
I think my light team has been out to lunch for like 34 years. I'm like, or like the universe has like given me signs, but I've been like too busy like on my phone to notice or something like that. I just like people that notice things. I'm so jealous. I truly feel oblivious.
I think that there is a certain, I'm going to just say this, Ryan. I think there is a certain thing that happens with age where the light team comes into the focus for a lot of people.
They're like, this person needs some fucking help.
I'm serious.
Totally.
I'm serious.
No.
And I think that like you've been like making your way through
downtown,
walking fast, spaces past, and you're homebound.
Yeah.
And your light team is like, he knows where he's going, he knows what he's doing. You're gonna hit a wall, and at that moment in time,
this wall,
that wall.
Yeah.
And at that moment in time, the light team's gonna show up, and boy, are they gonna figure out what it is that they need to show you put in front of you for you to know, like, oh, light team is here. Light team is shown the fuck up.
I'm ready.
Report back.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my fucking wild ass.
That's kind of a wild story.
That is wild.
I know.
Wow.
But Busy, you've always had that, it seems like. If that was happening to you at a young age, that's been a recurring theme.
Well, here and gone, you know what I mean? Like it was, and then I think that's the thing. Everybody says like, you know, children like are sort of open to all of this shit, and then we kind of close ourselves off. And then I do think, as I'm using my golf tee emphatically as I'm pointing at them over Zoom. I do think as you get older, you sort of like let your guard down a little bit, like how when you were a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now. I didn't tell. It's so funny. I talked to my mom for a long time this week and I didn't tell her that story because there was a part of me that was like, I kind of want her to just hear it on this podcast and like have her call me. And I know.
Does she always listen?
I mean, maybe. We'll find out.
I guess
we're going to find out.
This is how we sprinkle in tests. Tests
You know what?
for our loved ones.
Honestly, Caissie, almost everything is a fucking test. Let's be real.
Lol, truly.
Truly. Well, you guys, what a delight.
What a delight. We love you so much. Ryan, we love you. I just such a big fan. And I was talking to my son because I had to postpone our weekly phone call that's very important to me. And he was generous enough to postpone it because of my work schedule. And he was like excited. He was like, oh my gosh, I read his book. It's such a great book.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
And is he straight?
he is a straight young man, but he was like, I read his book when it came out. It's a great book. Yeah.
I got the straights.
He's a straight young man who has Caissie as his mother. So
Okay, so it's a little curve. Yeah. Okay,
You know what I mean? There's a curveball.
Yeah, there's a curveball. Yeah.
He's
totally.
a straight young man, but he loves furniture. You know?
Yeah, of course. We contain multitudes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, it was just so fun. I'm such a fan of the pod. I love it. I also love that every episode is like 4 hours long because like no, seriously, it is. I mean, honestly, it is like legit 4 hours long because I go on these, again, long walks and I need the content, baby. I need the content.
you are like literally maybe the only person. People are like, I'll listen to Dax Shepard wax philosophically
Oh, my
forever,
God.
but like, cut your shit down. I'm like, I can't.
Drag me to hell because also Dax Shepard's podcast is like my strange addiction on like whatever like a network that is, A&E or whatever, because I do listen to that and I do not know why. Like literally, like I'm just like, I mean, sometimes like I'll listen to it when there's good guests. I don't listen to it when there's like fucking Joe Rogan on or whatever the fuck. But I can't help it. I like it. But what I like about your podcast is that sometimes I don't care about the guests you have on, so all I want to hear is you guys talk. But I hate when my favorite podcasts have like 20 minutes of the co-host talking, and then they're like, anyways, our guest, and I'm like, ugh, bye. But you guys have enough content to get me through when it's just you two, or then whatever guests you guys have.
That's so
and I
nice.
appreciate that.
Ryan,
really
thank
sweet.
you. I'll be honest, and we'll tell you straight out that like we've had meetings with companies that were like interested in producing the podcast, and they were like, the only thing we do is like make it shorter by like 66% because like Joe Rogan can do like a 3 or 4 hour podcast, but like you guys should only be doing an hour. And I'm like looking at Busy's face on the Zoom, and I'm like, you just guaranteed that this podcast will never be shorter than 3 hours.
Yeah, I can't do it. Guys, I can't do it. It's not long enough.
I love it. You gotta have that because again, people don't always stay for the guests, so they need to stay for the host. Like,
All right.
I think it's perfect.
Well, Ryan, listen, guys, I'm telling you, if you need to curl up in bed and you need to binge watch something this weekend, I fully support it and make sure that maybe it's special on Netflix.
Special's a good bet.
It's a great bet.
It's the number one heartwarming show with gay sex.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And also some straight sex.
Yeah.
A lot of sex.
I call that as my diversity hires, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And guys, look out for your own personal light team. Let us know what they show you. Maybe it's not pennies. Maybe it's not golf tees. Maybe it's Prince songs like Caissie St. Ange gets. Maybe it's like fucking Bruce Springsteen songs. We don't know. I don't know your life. Maybe it's like bottle caps. Bottle caps? I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things that could be strewn about on the ground. Flowers? Flower
Drugs.
petals?
Something.
Drugs.
Joints.
Yeah,
Dead rats.
definitely.
Guys,
It could be dead rats.
Email us.
Yeah.
Email us and let us know. What's the email, Caissie? It's
Busy
something.
doing her best at gmail.com.
That's right. Busy doing her best at gmail.com. Per usual. We love you maybe more than you love us, but that's okay. That's literally okay with me. It's okay. And honestly, I'm going to go to sleep tonight. I'm going to feel okay about it. I love you guys more than you love me. More than you love me.
Bye.
More than you love me.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.